And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and or listening to ABL Live. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but I'm glad you're right here with me tonight. I most certainly appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Give the video a thumbs up, share it. If you're not subscribed already, do that. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, whether that be Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, wherever you are, give me a review, 5 stars, whatever you can over there, and share it as well. It's a whole lot of stuff going on right now. I don't even know where to begin. We're going to get into a lot of things tonight. We're going to get into it for sure. Never you worry about that. We're going to talk about Ahmaud Arbery. Some new news that came in is that Elon Musk is threatening to move Tesla out of California. I'm talking about the plant, all operations, everything, and go to Nevada or Texas. The taxes, the ridiculous draconian rules as far as social distancing, all this, that, and the third, can't get any money. Why stay in a place where I can't get paid, where I can't make money? And when I do make money, they take $1 trillion in taxes. What's the point in staying in California? Might as well move where it's easier to do business. It's a whole lot going on. We're going to get into it. Did you guys hear the Obama, quote unquote, leaked tapes? The reason why I use leaked in quotation, air quotes, is because he probably put it out himself to try and attack Trump over the virus. We're going to get to all of those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all for joining yet again. You guys are the best audience on the planet. I'm here every Wednesday and Saturday night from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to get into it. We got a nice big crowd already. That's right, Rashawn. We got a nice big crowd. We already got 2025 in the building, and everybody's liking the video, giving it a thumbs up. So I appreciate that. Let's start with the first things first. This whole thing with Ahmaud Arbery has blown up all over the internet. When I first heard about it, it's just, okay, it's a story. People are talking about it. You know, unarmed black man, you know the drill. But now it's gotten deeper. The guys that were involved, the guys that killed him or whatever, well, one guy was there. The other guy shot him. They both been arrested. And there's a third guy that was filming allegedly, and they're looking for him. Don't know who he is or why he was there, but they're looking for him. But 2 guys have been arrested for the killing. Now, I'm not sure what the charges are going to be because I don't know what they can charge him with. There's so many questions surrounding this and people are making conclusions. I did my video, and if you notice throughout the video, I said, I don't know. This is my opinion because I don't have all the information. When you're talking about the court of law, when you're talking about trying to get somebody locked up, you can't just go off of emotion because the law is not emotional. Okay, it ain't that much wiggle room when you're talking about the law. The law is stated and it's clear, and sometimes it's so to the point you can't really go outside of that. You might have a judge that can kind of, give you a little bit of room, but beyond that, the law is a law. So when you charge people with 1st-degree murder, 2nd-degree murder, you got to make sure that it's going to stick, because if what they did do not fit or does not fit the crime, then they get off. So all the emotion and all of that stuff was for no reason. We got to be taking this with a measured approach. Some say self-defense, some say premeditated murder, some say manslaughter. So all the differing opinions on what it is kind of point to the fact that all the facts aren't really known, because if all the facts were known, then the facts should be all that matter, and we judge the case based on the facts. But we don't have all the facts. That's why we have wildly different opinions on what the punishment should be, if there is a punishment to be had. So my point of view is, let's get all the information so we know how to proceed. Okay? That's simple. And like in my video, I was saying, it looks like from what I've read, the police report where I think the father gave a statement to the police and said what he was trying to do from the police calls that I have on audio tape. That's all in my article on my website. You can check it out in the box, anthonyblogan.com. From that evidence, from that information in the video, I was able to draw an opinion, but not a conclusion, because I still don't know everything that was going on. They're talking about they saw him before in the house, and, it's like, okay, what are you doing in the house? Were you stealing something? Were you vandalizing the property? Had you been there before? Had you stole something before? Like, what's going on? People say that he had on Timberland boots unlaced. Then they say they had on flip flops. Then they say they had on joggers. I'm seeing, like, how did he go from Timberland to flip flop to joggers? Okay. They said he had a hammer on the ground. What was the hammer? What was he doing with the hammer? Just beating up the property? Like, it was, and some said that he was in someone's house, and others said that he was in someone's house, but it was being constructed. On the 911 call, the caller said that he was in the house that was under construction, meaning it was wide open. You know, a house, like, you might have the framing and stuff like that up at the most, but it's not, ain't no drywall or nothing. There's no walls, and you can pretty much just walk through it. Okay, now there is laws against going through stuff like that, but that's basically what, trespassing. Depending upon where you are, it could be a felony charge, but it doesn't mean that you can get, you know, judge dreaded right out there in the street if that's what happened. Some say that he was running towards the people in the truck. Some say that he was jogging and he was going in that direction because, according to the police report, the people in the truck admitted to trying to cut him off and being unsuccessful. And then they drove up right beside him, and then they hopped out of the truck right there. That's what they said. So they did drive up right beside him. So, like, people are saying that he rushed towards him, but if he's running and or jogging straight and you come up this way and stop right where he's at, did he go towards them, or did they come towards him? Did he come towards them, or did they come towards him? You understand? Either way it goes, we're going to see how this all unfolds. You know, criminal history, all of that, you know, does it matter if you get ambushed? Did he get ambushed? Was there any kind of prior altercation? Was there any kind of prior words? What's going on? All of that will get found out for sure. It's the same thing with every other case that happens. So I don't even understand why so much drama around it. It's always something that you don't know. There's always new information that comes out. It changes it. And people that give a definitive conclusion from the beginning sometimes have to change it. You know, right when the story broke, people were making opinions about it. And I didn't even know all about the police report, about the house under construction, about Timberland boots or flip flops or none of that. I didn't know any of that because that was not available. So imagine what will come out after a little while, after a more thorough investigation. You know, was there any kind of foul play or any kind of wrongdoing on the behalf of the DA out there in, was that Brunswick, Georgia, in that particular county? Was there any kind of foul play there? I don't know. I guess I had to get found out. But to make definitive conclusions is kind of silly. All we could do right now is just give an opinion. I got my opinion. Everybody else has theirs. And I respect everybody's opinion. But you just can't say, oh, it's first degree murder. That's an emotional thing. Like, I'm cold-hearted when it comes to law. You know, I don't care. Like, I got ice spots where my heart used to be. You understand? I'm straight cold-hearted when it comes to the law because the law is cold-hearted. So I got to think like the law is. I can't be bringing my emotions to the table because that's not how things get done. You know, I don't operate on emotion. And I think, I don't know who said it. A wise man once said that man must contain his emotions, you know, especially like the men. I understand the women, you know, more naturally emotional. I get that. But the men, we got to be steadfast and contain our emotions, control it, not to have zero, but to contain it. No, I got emotion. I like to be happy. I might be upset, but I got to contain it. I can't let my emotions control me. I got to control my emotions. And I take that with everything I do in life. When it comes to this situation, when it comes to my personal life, when it comes to whatever, I carry that same thing and I'm consistent. I'm the same no matter what, regardless of what. So, yeah. And you know what? You're right, Key K. They say every election, we always have too much drama. Exactly. I think somebody, because I was asking the question on my Facebook page, I was like, hey, why is this tape just now being released when the incident happened in February? Why is it just now happening? Why are we just now seeing this? Okay, because obviously it was taped back then in February, February 28th? Okay, this is May 9th now? Why are we talking about this now? Election time, all right? Be getting, you know, down to the wire. Joe Biden's talking about it. You know, Trump's talking about it. This is a national issue. Now you got lines being drawn on the sand. You got division happening. So, you know, it's an election tactic. It's always like this. It was the same thing during Obama. It's always something like this going on at election time. But you know what? Regardless of whether the people that are arrested will be found guilty of murder, manslaughter, get let off, regardless of that, this case would not be a case if the shooters are black. If it was the exact same scenario, I'm talking about exact same thing. You got black guy apparently is in the house that's under construction. He's trespassing, stealing, allegedly, whatever. And then somebody black calls the police and say, hey, he's in there. We've seen him before. He's on audio tape, all this, that, and the third. And then they go get the pistol and the shotgun, the pump shotgun, and go try to confront him and say, hey, we want to talk to you. And then they end up pulling up beside him. They get out. The victim attacks the shooter attacks the victim, and then it's over with. Okay, and the initial attacker dies. Nobody would care at all. This would not be a discussion. The only reason why it's a discussion is because, they're white. And then they're automatically seen as white supremacists, Nazis, or whatever. They could be, but that's not even the point. The point is that nobody would care if it were the other way around. The black guys that shot him could have been, gang bangers, repeat offenders. It don't matter. That doesn't matter. This reminds me of back in, 2015, 2016. Remember Jamila Bolden? I'll never forget. I forget the criminal's name that got all the attention, but it was a guy, a dope boy, that had their house raided by the police, if I'm not mistaken, and he got shot by the police during the raid or something like that. The guy was a dope boy, and he got into a shootout with somebody outside Jamila's house, or him or somebody else got into a shootout outside Jamila's house, and a bullet from one of their guns pierced the wall and shot 9-year-old Jamila Bolden in the bed, and she died. She was doing her homework on the mom's bed. I'll never forget it. There was no, march and protest for her. Like it was an online kind of protest to get a protest out there in Ferguson, Missouri, to protest for the little girl. But the dope boy got a protest for him right away because why? Because police officer, white cop, black victim. All right. But black on black crime, little girl get killed. Ain't no big deal. You had grown men out there crying for the little girl. But that's not really as important as a dope boy that got killed, because the dope boy got killed by the white cop. I said it years ago. I said this back in 2014 under Obama, way before Trump even announced. I was like, nobody really cares. Like, Black Lives Matter. Black lives only matter when it's a white person that does the shooting of a black person. I said that before I had a YouTube channel. I said that before Trump, because it's a true statement. I said it even when I was a liberal because it was true. I mean, that's facts. People get mad about black on black crime being brought up. It's like, come on, what's the bigger problem? Rest in peace to, what's his name? Ahmaud Arbery. But look at the bigger, like, zoom out. If it's about black injustice and, black folks innocent being killed or whatever, zoom out and then look at all the people that have been killed with no justice, no case being solved or nothing. Oh, they go to jail, ABL, I can't tell. 20% clearance rate in Chicago, not much higher than that in every other city in the country where you got a high black population. I can't tell. Okay, no snitching, right? Everybody knows who killed little man down the street, but ain't nobody saying nothing. So it is what it is. I wrote an article on my website. I ain't even really trying to, promote, but I am trying to promote, but I'm not, it's not even like that. But I wrote it just before I did this video. It was on my mind. I had to get it off. Check it out. Go to my website when you get a chance. Check out the article. I might update that and write and put more into it, but that just came straight from the heart. So it is what it is. All I could do is speak facts. I don't care. One thing about it, it's hard to just speak from your heart and speak for an extended period of time while you're being a fake person. Because if you're trying to be an actor, you got to have lines written down for you, right? You got to be able to read a script and memorize it and everything else. With me, I could talk straight from the heart. This is how I feel for real. This is me all day, every day. Anybody that knows me know that this is me. All day, I don't care. I'm going to just speak my mind, okay? Now, if I got family around, I try to be a little bit quiet sometimes because I ain't trying to offend nobody. I'm trying to be nice. But if I'm just in the mood where I don't care and I want to speak my mind, people are going to get offended. You know, like when I'm around, you get family that might be kind of like embarrassed a little bit when I talk, because I'll say pretty much anything because I don't really care. I don't care. I'm an honest person. I'm a respectful person. Don't get that twisted. I don't cuss. I don't do nothing like that. I'm not trying to, be vindictive or ugly, but I just don't really care because I'm just being honest. So shout out to everybody that's in here. I'm glad you guys are joining me. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, like the video, share the video as well. Do all that good stuff. And shout out to the super chatter so far. Hold on, I got to refresh right quick and then I'm going to go on and get back to it. Yeah, but all I speak is facts. Now they're trying to attack Candace Owens because she said the same thing. She was like, okay, let's look at this black on black crime. Let's look at what he might have been doing. Let's look at that. Anybody trying to hear that? People don't want to hear honesty. You know what? This is why politicians are politicians, because people want politicians. Not everybody. People in here that watch me that understand what's going on, you don't necessarily want a politician. Okay, you want people that are able to, you want elected officials to be there to advocate for you and your best interests, of course, but you don't want a politician, a guy that'll come on TV and be fake, phony, pretend to really care for you and then do nothing for you. A guy that'll lie to you every 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, okay? Or every day they get on television or whatever. You don't want that, but a lot of people do want that because they don't want the truth. They don't want reality. They want a friendly version of reality. They want to be spoon-fed reality. It's like the Matrix, right? Remember, shout out to my man that died. R.I.P. to him. I forget his name. He was the guy that ate the steak and was like, I don't care if it's not real. My mind thinks it's real. So that's all that really matters. People are like that. They know that they're being told lies, but they don't care. They'd rather somebody come off in a so-called presidential, political, professional way rather than an honest way. That's why they exist. When people go outside of that, it becomes uncomfortable because then you don't have anything to fall back on. You can't say, oh, well, X, Y, and Z person said this, therefore I can do this. It's just like if somebody is a drug addict and people are around them, enabling them. You don't want to hear anybody that says, hey, sir, stop smoking crack, stop shooting heroin, it's killing you. You don't want to hear that because you're enjoying your heroin, you're enjoying your crack, and you don't want to get off of it. But people that say, hey, maybe you should stop doing that because it's killing you, you want to be getting away from around them. You want to be around their enablers. That's kind of what's going on with politicians and why they are important, why people don't like to hear the truth. Cypher, that's his name. Thank you, Bad Protocol. Yes, that's his name. Cypher from the Matrix, he turned on the Nebuchadnezzar, Neo and everybody because he wanted to get back into the Matrix. He didn't want to live that hard life anymore on the ship, ducking sentinels and agents. He didn't want to deal with that. So he was like, yo, plug me back in. I'll snitch. I'll tell you whatever you want to know because I'm trying to, get back to eating my steak and living my life. I don't care if it's fake. So wait, wipe my memory, give me ignorance because ignorance is bliss. My uncle said when I was a little kid that I'd be called to preach. So if I'm preaching, pardon me. But let me get to the super chats right quick and then I'm going to continue. Shout out to Tony Smith who says, can we talk about the Black Conservatives panel discussion on this topic? We can talk about that. I'm going to get into that if you want to hear it. And thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to Leo Mazzina for your donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to Molly Smile for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you to Jay Renee who says the odd thing is who and why it was recorded. It was recorded. That's what I want to know. Why was it recorded? Who was recording it? Why is it just now coming out? So many questions, so little answers. That's all I'm trying to say. People don't want to really address that for some reason. It's kind of strange, but thank you for your donation. Shout out to the Conservative Front who says, I feel like some Black conservatives are always siding against the victim, no matter what. What do you think about that issue? Well, I mean, what do you mean by siding? I've not seen anybody side against the alleged victim. I see people that say, let's wait till more information comes out. And I've seen people that have given an opinion that kind of makes sense to me. And when you say always, what do you mean always? Do you mean in cases where people that aren't Black conservatives feel like they are the victim? Because, I mean, we're talking about victims. What do we really, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's talk about all the Black babies that have been killed by abortion. Let's talk about all the Black on Black murder victims. Okay, we are in favor of those people having a chance to live. It seems like there's certain cases where black conservatives get targeted because people think that we should side with them, even though there's not enough information out there to say one way or the other, or if they're just straight wrong in general. Okay, you might get a dope boy gangbanger, attacking the police, he gets shot and killed, and then we say, hey, maybe the guy shouldn't have been gangbanging, maybe he shouldn't have been shooting at the police, maybe he shouldn't have been running from the police, maybe he shouldn't have been breaking into people's houses, maybe he shouldn't have been stealing and killing and drugging and thugging. We say stuff like that, and then they say, oh, you're against the victim, you're blaming the victim. But then when we say, hey, you got 7,000 black people that get shot and killed every year. Hey, you got 24 million black babies that have been aborted since 1973 Roe v. Wade. Oh, you're moving the goalposts. It's not about black on black crime. So it's just kind of weird. People just have strange perspectives and they look at black conservatives in a certain way, already negative, and then they're just trying to find things to use to attack us with. Sound bites, whatever they can to attack us with. That's what's going on, in my humble opinion. I could be wrong, but thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Yardley Moist. Hopefully I didn't say your name wrong, boss, who says, I like you, bro, but I'm disagreeing with your stance. But the killers got in the truck and chased him with guns. Robber or not, there's no threat at the scene. This case can't be self-defense. I didn't say it was self-defense. I mean, when did I ever say that? I actually said that in Georgia, you cannot chase or pursue somebody and try to do citizens arrest unless you see them commit a crime. That's just the law. The law says you can follow them in your car, whatever, truck, car, whatever, and call the police if you think they did a crime. But you cannot confront them unless you witness the crime and do citizens arrest. That's just the law. That's not me giving an opinion. That's just the law. I don't care nothing about if it's right, wrong, or whatever. Like I said, I'm cold-hearted when it comes to the law. I got an icebox right here when it comes to the law. You dig what I'm saying? So that's not an opinion to agree or disagree with. That's just a matter of law. Take it up with the court. Don't take it up with me. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, ABL like to see Ohio Congressman and former wrestler Jim Jordan power drive Adam Schiff off the top of the steel cage. RIP to the Fruity. Yeah, RIP to my man, Little Richard. He was, I think, 87 years old. Rest in peace to him. A legend in rock and roll and music in general, definitely a legend. RP to my man, Andre Harrell. Music exec, been around for a long time. I think it was with Uptown Records back in the Puff days and was behind a lot of the Bad Boy stuff, Big, 112, Total, all that good stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So RP to my man, Andre Harrell, and also the legend, the icon, Little Richard. Alrighty. And then what else we got going on? Oh, Tony Smith, the Black Conservatives panel. I don't want to say too much about that. I'm going to talk about it, but not too much because I don't really want to. That's not really that's not really my wheelhouse to get into that type of talk. Really what it was guys that don't like us, that are like the more popular conservatives. And I don't even really like saying that because I ain't trying to be like I'm somebody special. I'm just a guy. But that's really what it was. That's what it ended up boiling down to, because if it's going to be a balanced thing, everybody can't be having the same talking point. Like everybody can't be the same. Like me, I invite everybody to the panel. To my show. Anybody can call in. The number is open. I answer every call. I don't care. If I can get to your call, I'll answer it. I'm not going to, ignore. I'll answer everybody, and I'm not going to just omit people because I don't want them to come on. I'll debate anybody. I don't care when, where. I love debating. Debating is fun for me. I enjoy it. That's like one of my favorite pastimes, debating. Debating is fun as playing basketball to me, So that's not what that was. That was just a matter of them attacking us. And it's not necessary because we can do things together. I don't dislike anybody. I think that everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own point of view. And we can all get together and work together. And that's not a view that's shared by everybody, and it's really unfortunate. Like I said in my Instagram video, a lot of us have become conservative recently, and we don't really have all the conservative qualities. A lot of us just vote for Trump, and that's pretty much it. Or we say, abortion is bad, or, surface things like that, but we don't really change our character. See, when I became conservative, I changed my character. It was a personal transformation for me, You know, because I come from the kind of street environment. I changed my character. I changed me. I changed who I was as a person. It was a gradual process. That's why it was not an overnight thing. It was a gradual process for me. You know, I wasn't that far off. Like I said, I was raised to be socially conservative anyway, but I was politically liberal. And a politically liberal stance kind of influenced on my social behavior. So I had to change all that when I became conservative because it was just a natural thing. And by changing me as a person, voting more conservative and understanding conservative principles just made more sense because I was changed. A lot of people have not changed from when they were liberal. They just happen to vote conservative. That's the issue. And that's what we got to really work on in the Black community, for sure. 1,000%. All right. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. You guys are fantastic. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. We got 700 people in the building. It's all good, Conservative Front. Thank you for your donation. Conservative Front says, I appreciate the response, man. Keep up the good work. Hey, it's all good, man. Thank you. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says there was nothing wrong with Candace bringing up black on black crime. She never got around to the facts. Evidence was suppressed, and a retired law enforcement officer should know proper procedure. I mean, I don't really know too much about like the facts, if she brought them up or not. I think that we're still trying to figure out what the facts are. But I know one thing that's true in general, aside from this case, is that the black on black crime thing, it never gets addressed. Nobody cares. I've been saying this for years. Before, like I said, before I had a YouTube channel, before Trump came into office, when I was still kind of on the left, really, I was saying the same thing. Don't nobody care about black people getting killed? Because I knew guys that was getting killed back then. I know guys that's dead. I know guys that's in jail for killing people. Okay, guys never coming home. Nobody really cares. Like their family might care a little bit. Their mama might pretend to cry at the funeral, but that's it. Like I said, I'm cold-hearted when it comes to stuff like this because this is what I see every day. I've become kind of immune to this type of talk. So when I see people getting outraged about this case, I'm like, come on, man. Like, really? You see this every single day in the ghetto and it's not really a problem. People don't get arrested. Ain't nobody going to jail. And if they do go to jail, they go to jail for a small amount of time. That's not really an issue, but this case is because the person was white, they killed him. Let me see. Michael Ray says, a black guy pointed out a few things from the video. Does anyone jogging in untied Timbs wearing long blue jean shorts carrying a hammer? I mean, that's like, I didn't even see all that in the video. I'm seeing some screenshots, but I didn't see that in the first video. So that could be true. It might not be true. Even if he had Timberland boots untied and a hammer and some jean shorts, the question is, what was he actually doing? They say they saw him in the house. What was he doing in the house? Was he burglarizing? Was he vandalizing? What was happening in the house for them to try and arrest him with the guns out? You know, if somebody is trespassing, can you perform a citizen's arrest on them for that? I don't really know. I'm not sure if that's correct. But hey, it is what it is. But like I said, let's get to the evidence. Let's get to the trial phase, discovery, all that good stuff. Then we find out more. It's always the same way. People speculate, give their opinion, give their 2 cents. And then when more information comes out, people start to change. They start deleting tweets and stuff like that. It always happens. So I try to keep my opinion kind of measured. But if everybody get their opinion, how they feel, that's fine. You're entitled to it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Alrighty. So shout out to everybody here. It's a whole lot going on. That case is really blown up, but we'll see what happens as a result. But one thing I want to say before I get to my next topic, let's keep that same amount of energy for black on black cases in general. Okay. When black life is taken, let's keep that same energy for that. Let's not spend all this energy on this one particular case in one particular town in one particular state. Let's have the same energy all over the place. When I was talking about the Chinese kicking out black folks, Africans, African Americans too, from their homes in China that they paid for, from hotels, from McDonald's, when I was speaking about that and how wrong it was, and when I was speaking about how China is dominating Africa, how they're selling them all types of crap that they don't need, and they're trying to, take over the market and taking over countries, giving them raw deals. When I spoke about stuff like that, then you get crickets. From these same people, but all of a sudden one person dies. Let's not talk about the thousands that have been kicked out of their homes in China that are just being blatantly abused over in China, and people back in their homes in Africa that are being abused, that are being neglected, starved, fed, all kind of bad stuff by the Chinese. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about one person because a white person killed them. And then we can get off our narrative about the big bad white man killing black people. I can't do it. I can't do nothing with that. I can't do nothing with it. I'm sorry. Like I said, icebox. I don't care. Let's get to some real facts. How about that? And shout out to everybody here. Oh, let's talk about Tesla right quick because this is a pretty big issue. Just for a quick, a change. Hold on. Let me just tighten up my thing here. So apparently, Elon Musk and Tesla have sued California because they went out. They went out because of all the crazy taxes, all the crazy rules, regulations. See, it's one thing to have all kind of crazy taxes in the place like California, but then on top of that, you got the COVID-19, aka Wuhan flu, aka China virus restrictions. You can't even work. So you're making me pay these high taxes and I can't even pay it because I can't work. So how about I just go to Nevada or go to Texas with my business? You'll see a lot of that same thing happen as time progresses. As California gets more crazy, as it get more North Korea-like, people are going to leave. They're going to try to escape California. And now with all these rules on the books, it's going to be hard to leave. I was seeing some stuff up there in New York where Rhode Island was trying to find anybody from New York and say they couldn't come there. So now you're being trapped in certain states so you can't leave. Oh, because of the virus. I'm going to use that as an excuse. Okay, with a death rate that's a fraction of a percent. Same thing as a bad flu. In New York State, 84% of those that were sheltering in place, either in a house, about 2/3 of the total 100, and then 18% from nursing homes, 84% total, they're sheltering in place at home. How'd that happen? 2% of those hospitalized with the virus were homeless. They touch everything. But you telling me that I can't even leave the state? I got to stay not only in the state, but in my house where I have the highest chance of getting hospitalized from? It doesn't make any sense at all. But it is what it is. So Tesla making their cars in China, is that what's happening? I don't know where the cars are made. Are they made here in the States or are they made in China? Or is it a combination of both? I didn't know that cars are made in China. Cars, you have plants in China, but not for Americans. Like I think you got a GM plant in China, but it's made for Chinese people, not for Americans. The plant is right there so they can just ship it right there rather than trying to put a bunch of cars on the boat and selling it to China from California or Alabama or wherever it come from. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Elon. Hey, I don't know if Elon's a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. I don't know, don't care, but I like Elon. I like him. Like I said, I don't know about his political view. He might have a crazy political view, but from what I've seen from him so far, I like him. I like how he's standing up to the state, saying that, give Americans their freedom back, and I'm going to leave if you don't do X, Y, and Z. I like that. See, we need more guys like that are going to have the ability to stand up and take that ability to stand up. Matter of fact, here's the article. This is on TechCrunch. Let me pull it up on the screen right quick. And if you can't see it, if you're listening to the podcast and not watching, it says Elon Musk threatens to pull Tesla operations out of California and into Texas or Nevada. All right. And then it said Tesla CEO Elon Musk said Saturday the company will file a lawsuit against Alameda County, California, and threatens with its headquarters and future programs to Texas or Nevada immediately, escalating a fight between the company and health officials over whether its factory in Fremont can reopen. Because he has a new vehicle, right? I forget the name of the vehicle, but it's a new model, and they can't produce it because they're closing the factory because of the virus. I mean, my thing is this. They're talking about we don't want a virus outbreak. At a certain point, everybody's going to get it. So what's the purpose of trying to prolong it? You're just prolonging the inevitable. One thing that was said about Sweden, who the WHO, the World Health Organization, Susan Wojcicki, have praised, one thing about Sweden is that they did not do any kind of shutdown. They did moderate distancing, and as a result, their economy is still intact. We should do the same thing here. Okay, don't just close things down because you're afraid. You can't hide from the virus. At a certain point, you're going to get it. It's like trying to hide from the common cold, really, because the common cold is also coronavirus. Have you ever heard of anybody trying to hide from the code successfully. It just can't happen. You just might get it. All you can do is just try to be as clean as possible, but you can't just barricade at home forever. That's not sustainable at all. We can't just not work and still get paid. Okay. This is kind of a, not free trial, as I said before. This is $1 trillion trial right now of socialism, of Yang Gang's UBI. If people can stay at home and not work and still get money, or they can work less and still get money, then why would they work? You're going to have a drop in productivity, which is going to drop the economy. As we can see, productivity drops, so does the economy. All right, you're talking about what, like 14% unemployment, highest since Great Depression. You had 20 million that have filed for unemployment in the month of April. You probably got 40 million that have filed for unemployment in total. Once you see the numbers that come up next Thursday from March, April, and then May, 40 million, easy, no doubt. Okay, so at a certain point, we have to just look at that and be like, this ain't what we really want. And shout out to Elon Musk for understanding that. Okay, let me see. I'm going to read something here. It says California Governor Gavin Newsom issued a guidance Thursday that allowed manufacturers to resume operations. The guidance won praise from Musk, who later sent an internal email to employees about plans to reopen based on the governor's revised order. However, the governor's guidance included a warning that local governments could keep more restrictive rules in place. Alameda County, along with several other Bay Area counties and cities, last week extended the stay-at-home orders through the end of May. So the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, by the way, I digress. Anyway, he says you can reopen right now, basically, as far as I know. But the Bay Area, San Francisco, San Francisco, they're saying, no, end of May. So it was like, all right, man, like, come on, we're losing money. We don't have time for this. Time is money, and I don't have time to waste. Okay, so that's why Alameda County is being sued. And hopefully Elon Musk is able to win, or at least he'll have people that support the lawsuit to get the word out there, because this can't continue. It's crazy. Now, it says the orders from Alameda County did ease some of the restrictions. However, it did not lift the order for manufacturing. So you're literally closing manufacturing plants. You can't produce things because you're scared of a virus. I mean, and then they're talking about we won't get back to normal until the vaccine is found, until some kind of remedy, some kind of cure. If it ain't no cure for the common cold, and that's the coronavirus, there's no cure for the flu, there's no cure for SARS or MERS or anything like that. How is it going to be? It ain't going to be a cure. It might be a vaccine. How long is that going to take? There's no vaccine for the common cold, and that's a coronavirus. So how is it going to be one in a short period of time for COVID-19? It doesn't make any sense. AI says, Texas governor says open up. Austin idiot mayor says don't open up. Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, for helping that lady out that got locked up. What was that? Dallas? He was somewhere. The lady got locked up for opening her hair salon because she didn't want to grovel at the judge's feet. I think the governor passed something to go ahead and free her. So shout out to Greg Abbott for doing that, if I'm correct. But yeah, now you're starting to see how these, the certain localities are operating. It doesn't make any, like, I understand you want to have safety, but safety does not just include being safe from the virus. Safety also includes, being safe in your home, being safe in your community. If you have a big problem with unemployment, people not being able to eat, you're going to see crime rise, gun crime, theft, burglary, home invasion. That's going to rise up. So if you're trying to protect people, you got to do it in a myriad ways rather than just trying to, shield them from the virus. Matter of fact, you can't shield me from the virus. Like, if I'm going to go out, let me go out. I'm going to Target. I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to Home Depot. I'm going to all these big box stores with 5 people at a time. And I'm going in there. Everybody in the hotel is in there. Okay, you got 1,000 people in there. People are touching things. They're touching the food, touching the little snack items, touching the checkout stuff, touching everything, right? They're not washing their hands every 2 seconds. So if I'm in there in that kind of environment, why can't I go work at a plant or something like that? It doesn't make any sense, really. But it is what it is. And then They also got this thing where they have everything kind of blocked off in the restaurant, like crime scene. I think I might showed you guys this last time. Hold on, let me pull it up right quick. This is something I saw here in the city. I won't say where it is because they're good people. I like their food, but you got to see this. And if you're listening on an audio platform, this is a picture of a table in a restaurant with police tape over top of it. Like, it's kind of hard to describe. Basically, it's like one of those inset booths. It's kind of a circle, like a horseshoe, really. And in the center of the sort of circle horseshoe is a table. Now, on top of the back of the booth, you have police tape tied from one side to the other, and then from the other side to the other, forming an X, hovering above the circular table. And then on the table, it said, this table is closed per government guidelines. Okay, now you got that in the restaurant, and it's like 3 tables like that. Do you want to eat in there? Why would I want to eat in there? Did somebody get shot right here? Did somebody get beat to death right there? What's going on? I don't want to eat there. I don't know what kind of ghost is going to pop out at me and tell me to get up from my seat. I don't want to eat there. And then beyond me just not wanting to eat there in the actual restaurant, you're losing the space that you could be having. Like, if people want to eat there, if they want to be around a crime scene, you can't have a full house. And people's whole thing is based on having a full house, full capacity, full, usage of the space. How can that be so when you got the crime scene tape everywhere? It's crazy. Open up spots for sure. Like, and I went to a Guitar Center. I was at Guitar Center trying to get some new headphones. These are kind of like on their last leg. They're kind of broken up, cracked up. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're old. I need to get them replaced. So I go to Guitar Center, and when I get there, it's like some little X's outside. The way Guitar Center is where I live is like a little kind of a sidewalk attached to it with sort of an awning. And there's other stores right there, kind of like a little shopping strip, really. Not a mall, but like a little strip. And on a little sidewalk, you got X's taped on the ground. And the X's are where you stand. They're socially distanced, right? And you can only go in there one at a time, basically. You go there, the lady said, hey, where do you want to go? What's your department you want to go to? I'm like, I don't know, headphones? She's like, okay, wait right there. But then I see she has on the mask, and everybody in line has on the mask as well. And then I see a sign, to enter, you got to have a mask. I'm like, look, do I have to have a mask to get in here? She's like, yeah. I was like, you know what? You have a nice day. I walked away. And then went in my car, ordered on Amazon. I don't want to go to Amazon, but what's my choice? I got to put on I don't have a mask, number one. Number two, I don't want to wear a mask. I'm not trying to prevent my airways from being able to operate properly to go into your store to get a pair of headphones. You understand? I want to go to a place that's right here and not go to the big bad monster. But what's my choice? I don't have no choice because you prevent me from being able to go in there. They need to open up the country all the way. The masks are not going to help you at all. That's kind of a placebo. That's a sugar pill, make you feel good. You think you're getting medication to help you, but you're really not. You might feel better as a result, but all you did was get some water and sugar in the pill, and that's it. You did not get any medication. What you got did not help you. So I'm not wearing a mask. No, thank you. But it is what it is. Yeah, I just bounced. I was like, you know what? I'm out. Let me go ahead and go to Amazon. I didn't want to go there, but I tried to go to a local spot. But they're telling me, okay, stand here, stand on the X, social distance, put on the mask, wait. I'm like, man, I'm trying to go through all that. Open up all the way or stay closed. That's how I feel. And I don't know if it's the stores themselves or if it's the local government making them do it. If they're being made to do it, I understand. But I can't really tell if that's the case because I go to Walmart, it's packed, ain't nobody wearing no mask, ain't nobody wearing no gloves. Well, some wearing the mask. I mean, I'm lying. Some can wear a mask, but what I meant to say was you're not required to wear a mask. I go in the Wally World, barefaced, no gloves, let's get it. Ain't nobody saying, hey, put on the mask, sir, wait right here, sir. Ain't nobody doing that. But I go to Guitar Center. Oh, where it is? Wait there. No, I'm good. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, and I definitely appreciate you. Oh, did you guys see Barack Obama or hear Barack Obama's little leaked audio of him attacking Trump over the virus kerfuffle, talking about, oh, it's a disaster and all this and that? My question to Obama would be, number one, did this leaked audio come out intentionally or unintentionally? I'm leaning more towards intentionally, because it's a way for him to attack Trump over the virus without doing it directly, like on a live stream or something like that. He can say, oh, well, look, the audio got leaked. I didn't want it to come out. I was talking to my former staffers about how to support Joe Biden. It was in confidence, all this, that, and the third, knowing full well that anytime you're on camera, it can be sent to the media. Okay, you're referring to Biden as Joe Biden. You're saying him by first and last name. It was an endorsement. It was a campaign little stunt, a PR stunt, in my humble opinion. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. And to back up a little bit, he was talking to the Obama Alumni Association, people that worked for Obama, like staffers and whatnot. They got a little group, and he was speaking to them about trying to now help Joe Biden, quote unquote, win the election. Good luck with that. But anyway, he's speaking to them on one of these little web conferences, like one of these Zoom calls. And by the way, I need to really just train people how to do streaming, how to use Zoom and stuff like that, because some of these web calls, these Zoom calls, be a dumpster fire, sound terrible, video terrible, lighting terrible, connection laggy. I want to help fix that. But anyway, he's on one of these calls with people, and the audio gets recorded and put on the internet, given to Yahoo News. Now, I think it was something that was already set up to give to Yahoo News, to appear to be something that was kind of organic to go viral. You know, you're not fooling me, Obama. That's a 82 IQ move right there. But it is what it is. It doesn't matter, like somebody said, it doesn't matter what Obama does, what he says. The fact is that Biden's not going to win. Biden doesn't know where he is. He don't know where he is half the time, who he is half the time. So he has no chance of being able to win, none whatsoever. Emmy Black says Zoom is watched by CCP using another platform. Yeah, I heard about that. And they also have security issues. Now, is that, other quote unquote security issues, is that the CCP hacking your stream and putting stuff in there, forcing advertisement into your stream? Or is it just, random people that aren't affiliated with the Chinese government? Because if you don't know, the CCP have an extensive wing of the military that are dedicated to hacking. So they could easily, and if the CCP are in bed with Zoom financially, then it's easy. It's no point in hacking. They can just, plug themselves in, just like TikTok. But I digress. G. Rome says Biden is a placeholder. That's it. If Biden is a placeholder, then who's going to be the person that actually is a president? I'm hearing Michelle Obama. I don't think so. Hillary Clinton, I don't think so. That is possible that it could be Michelle and/or Hillary. Not and/or, but or Hillary. That's possible, but I don't think so. I think his running mate would be Stacey M. Abrams' tank. I think it'd be her. She's been basically begging for the job. I mean, if she don't get the job, it'd be pretty embarrassing. It'd be really embarrassing. You've been on TV for like the past 3 months begging to get the job. If you don't get it, that's going to be a big time, that's going to be a big time letdown for her. But it is what it is. I wonder who's going to be the actual president if Biden can't make it, because he's pretty much on the last leg right now. He's hanging on for dear life right now. And the fingers are on the edge of the cliff about to fall off. The fingers are like this on the edge of the cliff. He's about to just fall because he can't hang on no more. You understand? He looks worse and worse every time I see him. He's not improving at all. That's the bad part. You can't put him on no drugs, nothing to prop him up. He's just gonna be what he's gonna be. He's a napkin holder. Hilarious. All right. Shout out to everybody that super chatted so far. You guys are fantastic, and I thank y'all for joining as always. Shout out to, let me go back a little bit, Awakened QAnon, who said, shout out from San Francisco, try and turn the city red. Hopefully you're able to do so, because they need it up there in San Fran. They need that red wave up there for sure. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Yogi Fish, who says, bless up Mr. Logan. And thank you for that, man. I appreciate you, boss. Shout out to Mike Hunk, who says he came up on the car and grabbed a gun. Any questions or he was up to no good? I don't know what he was doing. And as far as him coming up to the car, according to the police report, the people that did it, I think it was Gregory McMichael, he said that he pulled up on him. Gregory in the car pulled up on him. So that's what they said. But what do I know? Thank you to Eddie B, who says, ABL, you're right about China and Africa, and what's happening with Christians in China is really horrible as well. China is an enemy. Oh, ain't no question. You know, China is definitely the enemy. That's who we should be focused on. They wanted to have this big diversion with Russia. Look to the south. Look at China. That's the real enemy right there. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Eddie B, who also says companies like Tesla or any other will be leaving California due to these crazy restrictions. Places like New York will be experiencing the same drain of CEOs. Yes. Yeah, because the thing is, they can't sustain these companies that have to operate. And they can't be at half capacity. They had to operate fully the way it's supposed to, because if they can't, like now, it's less about location and stuff like that and more about being able to operate. They wanted to be in California due to the proximity to the West Coast, being right there, getting things from Asia, and all the people that are in tech there that are right there. But if you're Tesla, people will come to you. That's just what it is. And shout out to Yvette, who says, just a donation. Thank you for that. Thank you to Eddie B, who says, first it was about stopping the curve. Now the goalposts have verbally moved by Pelosi Democrats to everyone needs to be tested. They'll never be satisfied. It's all about hurting economy Trump. I'm right there with you, man. It's always something new. You know, you want to slow the spread, flatten the curve. Now it's tests. And by the way, speaking of testing, that's a good segue. Out here where I am in Tennessee, they have the National Guard going to public housing facilities, also government-run, like old folks' homes, assisted living, and also penitentiaries, jails, to test. Now, I'm hearing it's not mandatory, but they are going with the National Guard. So what's really going on? You know, food for thought. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Zodoshi's Cane Sword, who says, hi, ABL and chat. Love y'all. Thank you for your donation, boss. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Ghosting Double O, who says, the book Political Pornology by the psychiatrist Andrew, I ain't gonna try to pronounce that one, Andrew L. proves ex post facto that we're governed by sociopaths. Well, thank you for that, man. Definitely, I gotta check it out. I appreciate you for your donation. Shout out to Dave Lee Murphy, who says Obama failed with H1N1, no room to talk. Exactly. H1N1 was deadly as this is. Well, maybe not as deadly as, but it was deadly. People in nursing homes died too from that. I saw a tweet earlier that said a person remembers it. They had 6 deaths at the nursing home they worked at the time during H1N1. Okay, so they want to talk about nursing home deaths right now. Well, back then when H1N1 came out, it was a similar situation. So, you know, let's not really play that game. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. That's right, SSG Squidward. Tesla is suing Alameda County, California, because they are not allowed to open back up. The governor, Gavin Newsom, put out a directive that says you can open up manufacturing again in California. But Alameda County says, no, we're not going to do that until the end of May, like the 20th or 29th of May. So Elon Musk is like, hey, we got cars to make. We have a brand new model of car that's just sitting there that can't be produced because of these restrictions. So how about you make us, you allow us to get back to work, or we're going to leave. We're going to go to Nevada or Texas or somewhere like that. So all that tax revenue you were getting is gone. So if you want us to stay here, then you got to work something out. You got to get back to work. It's simple. It ain't really, I mean, what else are we going to do? We can't just stay here and not make money. That's just not really an option. All right. But yeah, nursing homes, they're definitely places where diseases can spread and kill a lot of the population, unfortunately, because people are already elderly and they're in fragile states. You know, if you've been to one of these nursing homes where it's like, you know, kind of like almost hospice or something, it's not really a good place to be. You know, I've been places like that. You don't want to be there. And people like that, if they get a cold or something, any kind of little cough, it's a wrap. So an infectious disease like H1N1, COVID-19, anything like that is going to hurt them severely and or kill them because of their fragile state. Let me see. Eve says, wonder if CDC has the right to give people a vaccine. That's a good question. I don't know about that. I do not know about that. If they can themselves as far as an organization or if they can approve it. I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Yeah, hopefully Tesla does leave, Frank. Hopefully they leave California and then more business follow them. That's what I hope. Travis Gustav says, BS, your greedy kind will die. Well, hey, man, look, like I said, I'm cold hearted. I don't care. Like, I've had a gun in my face more than once and I didn't die. Ain't been shot, ain't been locked up. I know 20 guys in jail. I know guys that's dead and I'm still here. You know, so what am I scared about a virus for? A virus has a death rate of like a fraction of a percent. What am I scared about that for? You know, people get it and survive. People get it and have no symptoms. So why am I scared? If you scared, you could stay home. That's fine. My thing is like, why is anybody upset with those that want to get back to work? I don't understand. If you don't want to go to work, you can stay home. Maybe you enjoy unemployment and that $600 a week bonus you're getting. That's fine. But guess what? That ain't going to last forever. So either you're going to go back to work or figure out something else, you know, move to Canada, move to Australia, somewhere else. I don't know. Go somewhere where you can get more benefits. How about that? You know, and matter of fact, we can trade. If you don't want to be here because you're scared about the virus, we could trade you to somewhere else and bring in a more suitable candidate to replace you. I think that's fair. I don't really see nothing wrong with that. You know, people that are in like people that live in Norway. I know guys up there. Shout out to my man. If you want to come down here and trade places with the guy that's scared of the virus, you can do that. You know, and because they don't got the virus up there, it's like nothing really happening. You can be out there and be free. Matter of fact, if you don't want to leave your house, you can stay home forever. Stay home until you die. Stay home until you get to be 75 years old, and then that's it. That's fine, but guess what? I'm going to live my life unlike you. That's it. Exactly, Paul. If you're scared, stay home. You can stay home. Like, there's nothing against you. There's no rule that says you must leave your house. Now, how you going to eat? I don't know, but you can figure it out. Hanging names that you're hilarious. I ain't gonna read that though, but you're hilarious. I see that. Thank you to Christopher Ross, who says, thanks, ABL, keep kicking butt. Oh, most certainly will do, man. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Shout out to Mike Hunk, who says, when my people do bad stuff, we call them out, get to work. That's it. That's all. It ain't nothing else to it, man. Like that's all we can do. Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a good one right there. Dave Murphy says San Antonio went full potato and passed, quotes here, a resolution saying calling it Kung Flu is hate speech. Oh, matter of fact, no, they said calling it the Asian or the Chinese virus is hate speech. It's like, really? How does it make any sense? I'm telling you where it came from. You had news reports that were calling it like that when it first happened. So how was it wrong for me to say that? It doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's what happens with people people in the city that push certain progressive narratives. You know, it kind of concerns me. That's in Texas, though. It kind of concerns me. I want Texas to still stay red, but I don't like these little pockets of blue becoming more bold in Texas. I don't like that. You know, I know Texas is big, and it ain't just Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and stuff like that. I know it's big, but I don't want those places to dominate. Austin as well. I don't want them to become like, I don't want it to be like LA County and San Fran in California. You understand what I'm saying? Because once you leave LA County and San Fran, it's conservative for the most part. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Once you go in the valley, once you go down IE, places like that, or out to IE, close to Nevada, it's more conservative. Up there, like, you know, northern, like Redding and stuff like that, is more conservative. But San Fran and LA, all liberal, and they dominate the state. So hopefully we don't have that happen in Texas. Someone trying to push fear mongering like, oh, if we get more immigration, then it'll be like that. That's possible, but hopefully not. All right, let's get to it. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me see. Shout out to ADB, who says, ABO, you're right. I'm not scared of the virus either. It's being used as a psychological weapon. Lamestream media with Democrat socialists are happy spreading fear because they can bludgeon, quote, Trump with it. Exactly. Thank you for that. Shout out to Matt, who said 2/3 of people who got COVID got it while quarantining. Exactly. They're getting it in the house. It's not working. People that's homeless it's not no big, COVID-19 outbreak among the homeless. They out there in their tent smoking crack, cooking up pizza on a homemade grill, burning their tent down every 2 to 3 months. They don't care. They live in life. You understand? But shout out to Non-Versium R, who says these companies that support the Chinese view really should not be receiving funding of any kind from the American government. I agree with you. Thank you for that. Shout out to Joshua Perez, who says my job would terminate me if I don't wear a mask. People in New York City thinks it's a new normal. People are in fear because of tyranny of the government. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't care. Kim Bone says, should I type with a mask on? Nah, you good money. I'm not wearing the mask. I gotta be able to breathe. I'm used to being able to breathe a lot of air. My nose can just bring in. So I can't be having my airway obstructed. I'm not trying to do that. I like to be able to breathe. That's all. All right, let's go ahead and get rocking. What is a contact tracer, American Defender? I've seen that a lot, but what is that exactly? Can you break that down for me? I want to know what that is. All right, let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to get in through Skype, there is an email for that in the description box below. All righty, let's get to my stuff here. Make sure everything's on point. Hold on 1 second. I got to get my sound and everything good to go because I don't want you guys to hear all that ringing and dinging in the background. Hold on. Let me just make this the way it's supposed to be. And then we're good to go. All right, let's get to it. Nippin, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Obama, stop playing dumb. You're not fooling anyone.
Nah, I'm with you, man. So how do you feel about what he said about trying to attack Trump on the virus?
He's a hypocrite. There's nothing much else needing to be said.
No doubt. Because he was the guy that went he was the guy that went golfing when the whole virus broke out, and it was this whole thing going around saying that you got to close the golf course, you can't go anywhere. But he's going golfing, and that's fine. So I guess he can do whatever he wants, but we can't.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's okay when the Democrats do it. That's what the narrative is these days.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I bet you any money if Trump was a registered Democrat instead of a registered Republican, and he had the same views he had now, he would be paraded around as if he's God. I'm saying it now. I'm calling it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, and something on my end of the Atlantic, you also covered that in a video. One of our professors, he resigned because he disobeyed the stay-at-home order.
Hold on, what happened now?
Do you not? You yourself made a video on that.
Oh, you're talking about the professor, the guy that had his side piece come to the house. This guy, he was a guy that made the models that said there's going to be catastrophic deaths in UK if you don't take action right now to do the quarantine, social distancing. Meanwhile, he has this side piece come to the crib during the thing. And then he was talking about, oh, well, I'm kind of like immune from the virus, already had it. It's like, sir, look, anybody trying to hear that? You are the one that is behind this. You should be the main person that's taking it seriously. Obviously, it's not really that big of a deal.
So yeah, the thing is I'm in two minds about this one. Like the last time I'm in two minds. Like the numbers are inflated, and it doesn't make much of a difference whether he went out or not. Just like you would go out where you are right now. But on the other hand, he's not practicing what he's preaching. That's what I mean by I'm in two minds about him.
Yeah, 100%. Ain't no question. Like, if you're going to preach something, then I need you to practice it, because if you're not practicing it, then I don't believe you.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's evident. The Democrats are still the racist party, not the Republicans. Look, it's happened with Vernon Jones. It's happened to I can't remember the other one's name. And I only remember that her name is Karen. I can't remember her surname.
Witset.
Yeah, Karen Whitsett. It's happened to them. It's still clear that the Democrats, nothing's changed since its inception. They're still the party of racists. They're trying to keep you on the plantation.
That's right, 100%.
So yeah, a lot of Democrats have now had enough of their own party. You know you're going downhill when when members of your own party are turning against you.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty good because there's a lot of division there. You got the far left, you got the center left, you got the old school, the new school, and it's gonna they're trying to galvanize around Joe Biden, but I'm not really sure it's going to work too well.
Look, trying to build a party around Joe Biden is trying to throw a live grenade into an oven and expect it not to explode.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's exactly what it's like.
Right.
It's like you trying to convince me that that I should vote for Jeremy Corbyn. Wait, it's not him now, is it? I should vote Labour, despite the fact that I support Brexit. I don't support anything the Labour Party does. And you expect me to vote for them? No, you can't do that.
Right.
So yeah, you can't build something around Joe Biden. No, you can't.
Not at all.
And the stats that show that the majority of viruses in New York come from quarantine.
Yeah, like I said, 84% total. You had 2/3 that came from people just at home, not working, not going anywhere, really just staying at home, and then another 18% that came from nursing homes. So total 84%.
Yeah, that's a lot. And we're being told to stay at home, where the majority of deaths are coming from people staying at home.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And earlier today, a lot of people in the UK have started to have enough. They've had enough as well. People here in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine because it's only so long you could just stay kind of trapped in your home and not being able to work. Because only so long you could do that.
Well, Boris Johnson is gonna tell us at 7:00 tomorrow evening. That's 7:00 in London, 2:00 in Eastern Tennessee.
Right.
Just thought I'd clear that up in case you get confused.
Oh no, I got you.
So yeah, he's going to announce whether he's going to relax measures or not. Yeah, and one of the things discussed will be the stay-at-home order. I hope he relaxes that.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, even if it's just a little bit, I don't care. I want to get out of my house. I mean, like, I've been in here for 7 weeks. I've only been out like 4 times.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I would refuse.
Yeah, me too. But unfortunately, I don't live on my own. I live with my parents.
Right.
So I have to do what they say.
Right. No, I understand.
So yeah, and 20 million Americans have become unemployed because of all this stay-at-home ridiculousness.
Well, that was just in April.
Nonsense.
That was just in April. That wasn't even including March and those that are still being unemployed right now in May. So that's going to go up. It'll probably be closer to 40 million when it's all said and done. Depending upon how long this lasts.
A lot of fearmongers are telling me that this is worse than World War II. No. This is not worse than World War II. This is a huge. You're overhyping the virus so much. You
Right.
just are.
No doubt, man. But hey, I got a lot of calls on line. I'm gonna get to a few more of those, man. Thank you for your call. As always, definitely appreciate you.
It was nice catching up with you, ABL.
Oh, no doubt, man. As always.
I shall speak to you on Thursday.
Alrighty. Thursday your time, Wednesday my time. I got you, boss.
Yeah, I'll speak to you then.
Alrighty, man. Take care.
Peace.
Peace. Alrighty. The phone lines are jumping. They're ringing off the hook. If you want to do Skype, there's an email for that in the box. If you want to do just regular call in, the number to call is 434-658-1220. We'll get to the next call. 301, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Alrighty, Thursday, yours. Ben Bussey, Tacoma Park, man. You bring some serious hardcore knowledge and reality tonight, man, I got to say. I just had a couple of points I wanted to throw your way so you can, see how you want to answer it. But this takes me back to Nancy Pelosi, the State of the Union address, where she tears up the president's speech. And when she did that, she made a statement to whom I don't know. And then you fast forward to where we're at now. And the thing about Nancy Pelosi is her district in San Francisco. And I've seen videos on YouTube. Anybody can check them out. I know it's a Hispanic guy. He walks through the streets of downtown San Francisco where the homeless are living. And you see street after street, tent people and how they're living out there. And this is going on right now in Nancy Pelosi's district. So I mean, where does she see where does she see we the people? Does she see the country, us as a people, as like the way her district is now in San Francisco? If she don't, I mean, that's cold, that's heartless. And but you're pointing out a lot of points that it's like a big network that's kind of leading in this direction. But then I want to jump to the homeless, because you did talk about the homeless, and that the homeless, or the thing about the homeless, they're being pushed down even further. If what's going on with us right now, people losing their jobs and starting to really catch it, the homeless are being pushed down further. But the irony of that is that their percentage of those who are not catching the Wuhan flu is higher. So, and then the homeless is going to be able to witness a lot of the people, if this continues, a lot of the people that's going to be falling through the cracks and falling into homelessness, man. But hey, you kicking some serious things, man. It makes you think. Sometimes I got to write things down, hoping that I do get an answer so I can hit you with where I want, so I'm not running all over the place. But hey, man, thank you for what you do. Hey, man, and I pray that the CCP, that you we pray that you get a hedge put around you, because you're kicking some serious stuff. And so keep on rolling, man, and I'll talk to you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, now.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And thank you all for calling. The lines are jumping. I'm trying to get you in as soon as I can. If you're trying to call in and it hangs up, just keep on trying. It's like calling into PBS or something. Let's get to the next call. 228, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello, Anthony. This is Valerie from Mississippi. How are you doing today? I just called to find out how you're holding up.
Oh, everything's good over here. Can't complain at all. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm about to go crazy. That's what I wanted to call and say, that you don't know. I mean, I got a very big family, and people are ready to explode. I'm telling you right now. They better do something about letting us, you're giving us back some of our freedom, because people are just about ready to explode. And when people get like that, you know it. You know what I'm talking about. They just about ready to go out, and if anybody tries to stop them, somebody's going to get hurt, But the police here in Mississippi is kind of on the side of the people. They ain't doing nothing. You want to go out, you go out, They will stop and say, you could get sick by going out. And if you say, well, I'm willing to take the chance, they just go on about their business. They got sense, And that's the way it is with most now. That judge that did that to that lady and put her in jail and all like that. He's an exception to the rule. If he's, he's one. I think he's an egomaniac, one of those whoever, I'm more important than you kind of people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, there's more just regular policemen are really pretty nice people if you get to know them. They really are, But the police here in Mississippi, they will, if they see you out when you know you're not supposed to be out, they will stop and tell you, you should be home. But if you say, I just can't take it anymore, they ain't going to do you nothing. They just go say, well, be careful, wear a mask or something, They just cool about the whole thing. And I just was worried about you, how you holding up, you in Virginia with that. You got that crazy governor, don't you?
Oh, no, see, I'm from Virginia, but I left. And I left right on time because I couldn't be in Virginia right now because their lockdown is until June 10th.
Yeah.
So I'm in Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in Tennessee right now, and it's all good here.
Yeah, they're pretty cool in Tennessee, too. They ain't going to do nothing to you if you get out.
Exactly.
They're going to be, they're going to tell you, it's on you if you get sick. You've been warned, it's on you. And it should be on you if you go out and you want to take a chance,
Yeah, I've been out every day for the most part, and I never had any problems. I've been to Walmart at night, and then, police, they look right at you and just nod and wave. It depends on where you are. Like where I am, people it's not really a big deal to be outside and be out doing what you're doing. The only problem is that you can't really go to a lot of places because it's just weird the way they are.
Ain't no place to go.
Right.
They got everything closed down.
Right, exactly.
But they starting to open the beaches up here in Mississippi, along the Gulf Coast. Mm-hmm. We got all those nice beaches and all. But the only thing is, it don't make no sense the way that you can walk on the beach, but you can't throw a blanket on the beach and have a little picnic the way most people, when you go to the beach, you like to bring a basket and a blanket, and you can't do that, but you can walk on the beach, But we're starting to open up here now. And I just called to see how you're doing because I consider you a friend. I know we never met in person, but I do consider you a friend.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. Glad you call in, and hopefully everything goes good with you because you got the family in there. Everybody's like getting on your nerves. Hopefully you guys can get out soon and have that not be the problem no more.
I'm a very chill person. I don't care. If kids want to cut up, but that's my daughter. I'm the grandma. You understand?
Right.
I'm the grandma. I can just say, oh well, go bother your mama. I'm reading books. That grandchildren are your payment from God for being a mama. I get to say, I'm busy right now. Go ask your mama. And that's a blessing. You don't know how much of a blessing that is, but I do love them. Okay. And you take care, okay? I'll let you go.
All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And somebody asked, what part of Virginia? 7 cities, 2 up, 2 down. Chesapeake, I'm from Portsmouth and Chesapeake. If you know anything about that particular area, that's where I grew up. And we got a lot more calls on the line. Let me get to the next one. All right, Matt, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening? What are you doing?
Everything's good.
Hey, this whole thing has been playing out, man. So the economy was not in good shape prior to coronavirus, and there's a multifaceted reason I can say that. And what were interest rates doing? They were going down. What was the Fed doing with the balance sheet? They were buying troubled assets. What was oil doing? It was going down. What was the federal deficit doing? It was going up. These were all things, back in November that someone could reasonably say we're heading for a depression, and all those things are kind of baked into this, and what I was saying about Trump possibly losing 2020 was that they're going to have to do a number of things because the whole Russiagate thing failed. And one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to tank the economy because that was sort of like Trump's, everything that everybody could give him credit for. But I don't think the economy was very good. And then the whole Joe Biden thing, when Pelosi was endorsing Joe Biden, they're not endorsing Joe Biden. They're basically getting ready to give up on him. They have to endorse him now in order to get rid of him. And the Tara Reid thing was sort of like a wrench in those gears. So I feel like this is like a plan that sort of has been in motion for a while now. And albeit there's been like some twists and turns, I think it's on course.
So you think that the virus was playing?
No, I think that the recession was coming no matter what. And if it weren't the virus, I think that, the global elitists, the Illuminati or whatever, I don't know, I don't believe in all that stuff. But I feel like they would have found a reason in order to trigger a recession. It could have been a new war. It could have been just a regular business cycle. There's business cycle predictability indexes, and they've all been right on a hair trigger. So I think when you look between now and November, 6 months are going by. I think the coronavirus situation itself probably was like the worst option because now people are sort of saying it's a reasonable justification for why the economy is failing. Whereas if it sort of just failed on a business cycle, or what we would have seen as like something in 2008, like a subprime lending situation, they wouldn't have as good of an excuse to say that it wasn't Trump's fault. So they're looking for a way to pin this on him. And this is why they say, Trump, your response to coronavirus has been absolutely horrible. You could have saved so many lives if you just did what we told you to do, even though we told you to do all the same wrong things anyway.
Well, I got a question for you though. Like, what if the economy was doing well before the virus? Would we still be in what we're in right now? Would it be a good economy right now if we had a good economy before?
Well, so what is a good economy, right? So that's a great question. A good economy is one that, it's kind of like you have a bad harvest, but you got all kinds of grain in the store. So now you can survive the winter. That's what a good economy is. So a good economy for America kind of looks like, well, we're making all kinds of stuff. Our workforce participation's low or unemployment's low. That's all good things. But also, you look at Denmark, in 2015, 2011, they were paying down their national deficit. I mean, they absolutely were paying it all down. So when your household economy is good, yeah, you can buy the stove and you guys can go out to the movies, but you're also not accruing all kinds of debt.
Okay, Denmark population 5.8 million. LA County, double that by itself. That's not even the whole state. There's just one county in California. It's almost double that with like 10 million. So it's kind of hard to compare. But I'm saying, like, okay, if we had a good economy and things are going good, everybody's doing well, and then the virus hits and people can't go to work, I mean, how long is that sustainable before it becomes a problem to where now you have an economic downturn? And then it's not even just America, it's the whole world dealing with it. You're talking about global disruptions, production, transportation, airlines. Can the airline industry stay afloat with no passengers for 2 months? Is that possible? Even in a good situation, is that possible to just not have any income in your business while you still have operating expenses for that long? And you're in aviation, so you would know that, right?
Yeah, this is an aviation company. I'm actually at work right now. If anything, you look at like what happened to the 737 MAX, all these planes being parked out there. Aviation is a different business. Like, number one, this actually might be a good thing for some aviation companies. Not all of them, but some of them, because aviation companies like Southwest, for example, they sort of they hit their glory days when they bet the futures contracts better because they bet that fuel was going to be at a higher price. So aviation companies, especially transport, are very much fuel futures companies, and right now they're all being forced to pay a premium for fuel because they thought fuel prices are going to go up, and they've absolutely plummeted. So they're losing their butt in that regard. So not flying is actually beneficial because now they don't have to buy as much fuel at a high futures. And then they also have a situation where I can't remember. I'm not a bankruptcy expert, but I can't remember if it's like Chapter 14 or Chapter 15 where you're a special government interest, because you're vital to the market economy because people need to get from one place to the next so you can get these bailouts. So now they have reasons, tangible reasons other than them, I'm trying not to swear, really messing up with things like the 737 MAX and betting artificially high on future oil futures contracts. Now they have a coronavirus to say, well, this is act of God and it's completely out of our control. So bankruptcy is going to be a commodity coming up here. Like who's able to go bankrupt and who's going to be left holding the bag is going to be a major thing that the government's going to be able to socialize. Because TARP was just socialized bankruptcy, right, for the banks.
Well, okay, all right. So that's pretty much all I got. You got anything you want to add before I get to the next call?
No. Other than Biden was looking for a way out, and Tara Reid wasn't that way out, and it might be his way out, but Tara Reid really put Pelosi and these people in a tight spot because they were looking for like either an illness or something for him to exit gracefully. That's why they endorsed him, and they wanted to get rid of him. So take it easy.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to Matt. Thank you for the call. And let's get to the next call. Our number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get on to it. 413, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing? It's Chris. Just calling, checking, make sure you're not breaking the Logan Act.
the Logan Act? Nah, everything's good over here.
That's good. Speaking of acts, back in 2013, Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act. You know what that was?
No.
It was about propaganda. He allowed for propaganda with an executive order. Check it out. It's called the Smith-Mundt Act. This is big time. I heard about this on Alex Jones back after it happened, and didn't really look into it until just recently when I was trying to convince my aunt that it was real. And I finally got the name of the act. It's the Smith-Mundt Act. So that's it's heavy-duty stuff. So when he's out playing golf and he's smiling and everyone else is in their home dying, he's just licking it up. Yeah, heavy-duty stuff.
Yeah.
So with people feeling confident about well, I got tested or this and showed this or shows that. It sounds like there's a lot of false positives happening if you've had the flu virus shot. If you've had a flu vaccination, like you said, it's another form of a corona type virus. So flu shot or flu vaccinations have shown, actually according to a Navy study that was done back in I guess November, they showed, I don't have the exact study title, but you can look it up, Navy study, that the high percentage of the people that they study, or that they tested for COVID showed positive if they had their flu shots, which most, I assume everybody in the military has to take their mandatory vaccinations. So some people actually test the false positive, and some people don't. So then there's different conditions around that. Maybe some people are healthier than others, just they have better diets and they're stronger constitution, all that kind of stuff. Constitution. we're going to get our Constitution trashed. I tried calling InfoWars to tell them, because they seem like they got some connections to the White House. It seems like if we federally legalized right now, just said, people, farmers, grow hemp and all the products associated with hemp and marijuana, we'll grow that bunch too, sorry. But in terms of hemp, all the oil seed stuff, all the various extracts you get from hemp, all the fiber products, you can make plastics from it, all the uses that are derived from hemp could be grown, could be planted right now on all these huge soybean fields. All these soybeans, every soybean farmer out there in the Midwest who are all screaming, we're not going to vote for Trump if he doesn't get this deal with China, if he doesn't get this deal so we can sell our soybeans. And it's like, God, why don't you guys grow some hemp? It's like that stuff got legalized because of the plastic companies and the oil companies and whatever other politics back in the whatever that was in the 30s or 40s or whenever that happened. What else? There's a name of a book called Silent Weapons for Quiet War. I forget when it's from, but it's a title that people may want to look into. What else have I got? I wrote a couple things down. I don't know if this is real. It looked real. I saw it on video on YouTube about back in about 8 or 9 years ago. It was in a like a banquet room. It looked pretty fancy. It was who was the advisor for Karl Rove, with his arm on Bill Clinton and a young Barack Obama with George Bush sitting there too. This was in the looked like it was in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Karl Rove going, you're going to be president, then you're going to be president, and then you're going to be president. And I was just like, oh gosh, is this real? And I have not found it again ever on YouTube. And like I said, I saw this back, when you could actually get stuff on YouTube, and it was gone. Next time I tried telling someone about it, I went over, look, got to check this out. And we looked and we couldn't find it. But I don't know, maybe someone with what's the Wayback Machine or something could maybe pull that one up. But Karl Rove, he's a creep. Gosh. Anything else, Guy?
What's going on?
That's all I got to say, I guess.
All right, now. Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box and sometimes right here on the ticker as it passes along in front of your TV, your phone, or whatever you're watching this on screen. Let's get to the next call. 607, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It is. Yeah, what's up? Chuck in Jayville, North Carolina.
What's going on?
Everything's well. I hope everything's good for you. The thing I wish to speak with you this evening is a couple of things. One, earlier tonight you were saying that leaked audio of Obama and how it seemed like he was being, honestly, I think he was right. That I think he did. Personally, I think he actually did believe that conversation was being recorded, because how cautious he was with his comments and how articulate, I guess you could say, and what on the comments that he was saying.
I mean, that's what it seemed like, because he was, being very measured with his words. It was like he was giving a little stump speech. So, of course he knew, especially when you're talking in a webcam, people can see you. That may not be people that you actually, know, because you could be at home. Like if it's some kind of web conference, they're at home with their family and stuff like that, people that he does not know. So he's going to speak very carefully, and he knows that it could get out. And of course it did. And he probably wanted it to get out because, like I was saying, he was able to attack Trump and get news out there without directly doing it on an interview or something like that. So he can escape some of the criticism for criticizing Trump over the virus. So yeah, that's probably what happened. If it is what happened, I would not be surprised at all.
And also one other thing, and hopefully, please, if you could educate me on this one.
Okay.
You as a YouTuber, you do 2 live streams a week.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm going to assume that you do not have the DNC in your back pocket giving you millions of dollars worth of cash.
No, not at all.
So why in God's creation does Joe Biden not unable to do this? I don't believe Joe Biden is technically savvy enough to run a live stream. Nobody here does. But he has the money to hire people to do this. He has the DNC. He has his own campaign, millions of dollars, and they can't get this right.
Because that tells you right there that government are not really efficient or effective at what they do. It's a private citizens. They got to come to us to get this stuff done. You know, you're trying to go to some staffer or something like that you didn't hire at some random position to do the live stream, and they don't know what they're doing. They got stuff running on Wi-Fi. They got all kind of funky microphones and bad cameras and, you know, crazy internet connections. They don't understand how to do this. They got to come to us. This is why government does not work. They can't even get a live stream together. Like the whole thing with remember the Obamacare website? But they spend millions on the website and it didn't work. Like I can do a website. Like I have a background in web development or web design, I should say, not development. I'm not a PHP Drupal kind of guy. I'm more of a web designer. I can do a website right now in the day. It'll be beautiful, but they spent millions on basically e-commerce website and couldn't do it. So that tells you how inefficient government is.
I mean, that actually brings back more to the point. I mean, I don't know how many YouTubers are out there that actually do live streams. God knows how many. And I'm willing to bet there's probably definitely like about 30, 40, even more. They're actually Biden supporters that are like, hey, we'll pay you, $50,000 a year or whatever to run live streams. Show us what we need to do, set things up, run it, and fix the technical issues. Or however much money.
Yeah, I mean, but see, they don't. That's not how government really. They don't even do it like that. They should, but they're inefficient. Like they should come out and just find some streamer that knows what they're doing, get them on the staff, pay them money, and let them do it. But they don't think like that. The same way they could have got a bunch of these web designers to get them a proper website, and they didn't. And they spent millions on it. And then it could also just be kind of a racket. They're paying these guys a bunch of money to do nothing. They're paying friends of their family and stuff like that. It's corrupt. They don't even care about reaching out and getting a YouTuber to do this because it's not even about that. They're inefficient, they're dumb, and that's why government should be small, and it should be more about us as people running our lives rather than the government.
And one other final thing, and that's another thing too, that personally makes me believe how a show of incompetence of him and also that of his staff or his campaign. Like I think when he did that virtual town hall. Right, there was so many blunders. Okay, yeah, technical issues happen. You know this. I've seen you definitely deal with them. Technical issues, but I mean, it seemed like they didn't even rehearse it. I was in the military. I retired out of the army. Like whenever we had a major ceremony thing, we spent at least a week every day practicing it.
Yeah,
and he can't do that.
Nah.
Because, we're in the public eye. He is running for the most powerful position on the planet, the most public eye position on the planet, and he can't. They'll do a couple of rehearsals.
Nope.
Even more to the point. How many people from the media industry have been laid off, like producers and cameramen, this, that, and the other? They can't hire them. Say, hey, I was a producer for X show. I know how to operate said thing. I used to, work for the Academy Awards. Things happen there. We cue this guy, cue that guy, cue this. Hey, we're going to switch over to you. This, that, and the other. They can't hire people to do this and practice it?
To you and I, this just makes common sense. But to the government, they don't do things in the common sense way most of the time. That's just the reality.
This shows how bad and incompetent they truly are. I would want everything to be purely perfect. And, I could understand, a certain technical issue, Wi-Fi goes down, whatever. I get it. People get it. A thunderstorm shows up, and poof, next thing you know, they electrify their house. Get it. Act of God. But you don't want to you could play those off. People will say, okay, all right, yeah, they had a tornado come through. We get it. But, it has a professionalism on your product.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm with you 100%. But hey, man, I got a lot of calls on the line. I'm going to get to a few more. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, have a good night.
All right, same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. Like I said before, I wish I could just train some people about how to do the live stream, but not everybody's really up for it. I may do some kind of seminar because people are asking me a lot. How do I do this? How do I do that? I could teach you. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. To me, it's just like really easy, second nature. I got my whole setup set up. People don't really understand how to do it. For me, it's just simple. The only problem would be if you got a bad, if the internet kind of goes out or the power goes out. But beyond that, it's all good. Skype might mess up, but you got to understand what kind of programs you're using, know the reliability, make sure everything's up to date, and have all your ducks in a row before you start the stream. And they don't take it seriously. It's something else. They kind of look at it like it's nothing, it's easy. And then when they get into it, they're not prepared. But when they're talking about like a stump speech or something like that, all the ducks are in a row and everything is generally good. But I've seen it mess up on live TV too. But I can understand TV because it's a lot more factors to go into television. I mean, you got a crowd and you got acoustics of the crowd and you got to have your sound guys. You got a lot more independent factors and moving parts. But with a stream, it ain't that much. I have a 72-inch desk, 2 monitors, point and shoot camera, PC. Like my whole setup is right here. And my microphone, of course, on the stand, our mixer right there. That's all I need to do my stream and I'm good. Okay, for Joe Biden's stream, he can have somebody helping them out, maybe in the back of the house or something with a long cable, a monitor, and then he could just be speaking. He can just have the camera right here. They can have the cables going to their computer and they can do all the switching and everything they got to do as far as bringing on people or whatever. It should be pretty simple, but some people it's kind of hard. They can't really handle stuff like that. But like I said, government, not really efficient. They're not so much worried about getting professionals all the time. They're worried about getting those in there that are kind of friends and whatnot. This is why government should be small. Let us handle things like this, like our safety. Let us handle that. When you put the government in charge of safety, they put us in more danger by making us stay at home, but different story. I digress. Let's get super chats right quick, and then I'm going to get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me see. Let me scroll back up here. Let me see. Shout out to, I got to go way back up. Okay. Thank you to Joshua Perez, who says, my job will terminate me if I don't wear a mask. I already read that one. Thank you for that. Shout out to Andrea Timmers, who says, thank you, ABL, for speaking the truth. Hey, it's all good. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says, when Trump makes the economy bounce back from this, the Democratic Party is toast. Shrug. Hey, you might be right about that, man. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. Shout out to No Diggity, No Doubt, who says, what's up, ABL? I've Bloody Mary, too many Bloody Marys. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you to Valerie Rogers, who says, hello, Anthony. How you holding up? Hey, it's all good over here. There's no problems. I've been going out every day. I just don't like going to Guitar Center, trying to get some new headphones. And they're talking about, oh, you got to wear a mask, come in the store. I don't like that too much, but beyond that, it's all good over here. But thank you for your concern and your donation. Shout out to Kim Bone, who says, here's $5 I would have spent towards a haircut, but my stupid governor won't let me get one. Hashtag end the shutdown. I agree. I'm right there with you. Yeah, people out here, like the salons open up 12 midnight, right? People outside waiting in line to get to the salon to get, their hair done and get their hair cut because it's a real thing. Luckily, I started cutting my hair myself back in like 2012, cutting it bald with a pair of Andes clippers. Luckily, I started doing that because if I didn't, I'd be looking like I smoked crack for a living for real, But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Idol. Is that your name for your donation? With the #1 fan, I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you to Deep Centerfield Press, who says, government, we certainly have seen the worst of that in the past 2 months. A lot of hacks and authoritarians. Keep up the good work. I'm right there with you, boss. And thank you for your donation. Shout out to the Master of Violence, who says, that's a crazy name, who says, this guy says he's a member of Mensa on his Twitter bio. Not sure who he's speaking about, but thank you. Let me see. Let me get back on track here. Shout out to No Diggity, No Doubt, who says, frogs in the chat for another Bloody Mary or frogs in the chat for me to refrain. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Shout out to No Diggity, No Doubt, who says, what tea, ABL, looks like milk added or no? Yes, this was, because I done already punished it. This was chai with tea. Chai with milk. Tea. All day. I don't drink coffee. It's closest you get right here is some tea with milk. But I don't drink. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. That's pretty much. I don't even drink soda. I drink like that sugar-free soda. I drink that. That's pretty much it. Mostly water though. And thank you to Christopher Dyer and No Diggity No Doubt for becoming members, ABL supporters. You guys are great. Oh, shout out to Dade Lee Murphy, who says Hyde's twin video about was right. Hyde's twins were right about the Arbery shooting. Yeah. Shout out to Hyde's twins, my fellow Virginia brothers. They from Martinsville, which is like an hour south of Roanoke, where my dad is from, and where my granddad and my granny and they lived for a long time. Still got family out there. So shout out to the Hyde's twins. Yeah, they were right about the situation. Right on point. And thank you to who else? LD Murray, who says, thanks for your insight. So smart. Hey, it's all good. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'm just speaking my heart and being real. I'm glad you guys are able to appreciate it. But let me get to the calls. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All righty. I had somebody right there I wanted to pick up, but it was a little bit too slow to the trigger. Let me see. Did I already answer this one? I don't think I did. Hold on. Let me just make sure I'm good to go. Let's go 416. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 416.
Oh, hi. How are you, Anthony? Cigar Bucks.
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
The world's weird, man. Did you hear about what happened up here in Lethbridge, Alberta, with the police? What they done?
I don't think so. What happened?
Oh man, I cannot believe how stupid they are. On May the 4th they do a thing for Star Wars, right? Like, because it's like the May the Force be with you, so they do the May the 4th thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, some guy, he's got a pizza joint, I think it is, called the Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina. I think that's the name of it. And so he hires this 18-year-old girl to put on the stormtrooper outfit. You know, that big white outfit, the big plastic-looking stormtrooper thing from Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay. And a little plastic laser gun, and she was supposed to walk around in front of the place to, attract attention to get people to go in. Later on, I don't know if somebody phoned or what, but there was like 3 cop cars show up in front. And this is actually on YouTube if anybody wants to check it out. It's you look up a thing that says original footage, stormtrooper arrested by Canadian police on May the 4th. And so they scream. They got guns pointed at her.
Wait. Let's slow down. How okay? How did we go from they're outside the store just dressing up to the guns come out? How did we get there?
I'm really not sure how that happened. Like she was just walking around back and forth, and so I don't know, like if somebody phoned or what. But like this guy's got footage. He walked up to her and took a picture of her, and then these cop cars showed up, and these idiot cops get out, and they said, "Drop the weapon."
Wow! No.
And okay. It gets worse. So I think later on, the owner of the place comes out and says, "It's a plastic gun." And they tell, "Oh, you better go back inside," and all this crap. And then, so she puts the stupid plastic gun on the ground. And that's not good enough. Drop to the ground. What? Like, get on your belly. Come on. So they made her get on her stomach. They bloodied her nose. They handcuffed her. She's crying, bawling her eyes out. And so there's a guy who's filming it. Now, he did a pretty bad job of filming, but you still saw all this crap happen. And a cop comes up and says, "Oh, you can film. It's okay. Just you're getting in the way, so you better not." Or I think he says something to the effect of, "You'll get charged," or something like that for interfering. And then the cop goes, and after saying you can film it, he goes and pulls a car up in front, so he blocks everything. But I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, there's 3 cop cars full of idiots, obviously, because I get a phone call, and they say, there's somebody running around with a gun in front of the Galactic Lounge, or whatever it's called, right? And I see them dressed up like a Star Wars character. I'm automatically just going to laugh. I'm not going to go out there. Like, maybe because they got a call, you have to go and investigate. So, yeah, okay, I'll walk up and say, "Can I just take a look at that plastic gun of yours to make sure so that I can write my report?" But no, they make complete fools of themselves. This is on YouTube. Like, if you want to check it out, it says it's under a thing called Original Footage Stormtrooper arrested by Canadian police on May the 4th. If anybody wants to check it out, you'll see these morons. And this is after our illustrious Prime Minister says, "Oh, we can't have any guns here. We're banning 1,500 guns." 1,500, and I thought, we just had a tragedy happen down in New Brunswick where somebody ran around for, I believe, 8 hours killing people. That they couldn't do anything about, but, oh yeah, we can pick off somebody in a Halloween costume and make ourselves look like complete morons. I'm telling you, man, like, this is absolutely insanity. So, one thing I want to mention, I notice a lot of people are talking about Trump getting reelected and stuff. Everybody, make sure you continually tell everybody to go and vote, because I've got one of my sons, his wife is liberal, so she votes for the jerk. And her whole family is like that. Their whole family is liberal. And I remember them thinking that Trudeau wasn't going to get elected this second time. Now, he didn't get a majority government. He got a minority government, but still, the idiot is our prime minister. So even they thought he wasn't going to get that. So everybody down there, please go and vote for Trump. Make sure that nobody thinks that it's a shoe-in. Do it, because you got nothing but bad crap happening. One thing I want to point out also is I'm really glad the point that you were making about the black-on-black crime and them saying absolutely nothing. It reminds me exactly of the Brett Kavanaugh case, right? And then with Biden, exact same thing. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is to suit their little thing. And even look at Northam, what he pulled off. I mean, can you imagine if they found a picture anywhere of Trump like that?
Oh, no. I mean, it don't matter if it was obviously not him, obviously him. That'd be all we talk about every single day of the week.
That's right. That's all they would keep talking about. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever they want to fish around in their little general direction, and they won't care about anything. Like you said, like the little girl getting killed. Nobody cared. I thought, man, like, that's gross. And then, like you pointed out, the thing with the security guard. I heard it in passing. This is the problem. So I've been fishing around trying to find the one that I heard. But the way that they said it, it was like they made sure that they said that it was a black security guard. And then I don't recall them saying anything for the shooter. So I figured, why would they make a point of saying that the security guard was black unless the shooter was white? Right?
Right.
That's just the assumption that I made as a result. And I thought, well, it doesn't matter because with something like this, I'm going to hear about it. I'll just look later. And then I couldn't find anything on it. And then you said, you put the video up saying what did happen. And I went, oh God, no wonder I can't find anything about it. You know, it's not fitting the narrative.
That's right.
But anyway, if anybody wants to look at that thing, remember, just original footage, stormtrooper arrested by Canadian police. You see, it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I'm telling you, to be Canadian and you see stuff like this happen. It is really embarrassing. But thanks a lot for taking my call, and I'll talk to you later. It's been fun.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to my man, Cigar Box. Okay, I got a link to this video right quick. Let me see if I can play it. Okay, I'm going to put it up on the screen right quick just for a moment because some people don't listen to it on audio. So I just want to show you what I can right quick. And then we're going to get back to the calls. Okay, let's do this here. All right, there's no sound on it. All right, so they're driving by, and this is the stormtrooper. It's kind of hard to see because it's not necessarily super big, and I can't really go full screen because it'll cover up the whole screen. But you see, it's like, okay, standing there, I got my hands up, the guns on the ground, the little plastic guns on the ground. And then they're out. So it's 1, 2 police cars. A third one's coming up, I suppose, with the camera. Or maybe there's somebody just a passerby. So right now you got the 2 police cars, and then they're being approached by the officer. This guy's like on the moon. It's the angle is so far. The view is so far. He's scared to be seen, I guess, because he doesn't want to be maybe involved with it. There you go. So now the troopers on their knees, and they're about to get arrested. I guess I got to take the helmet off. Meanwhile, the officer got the gun right there in front of him. It's like, you might want to pick it up, sir. Like, the stormtrooper is like right there in the ground, and they got the owner right there, I guess. And then, okay, now they got her on the ground with the helmet still on. The stormtrooper helmet still on. Now the helmet is off, I think. And the guy, I don't know if he's smoking crack right now, and he just unbothered. Sir, I don't want to see your face and your teeth and all of that good stuff. Let's get back to the action. What would he be doing? So Garboss, he wasn't lying when he said the guy did a bad job. I'm seeing the sky and the scenery and the berries in the trees. I ain't trying to see all that, man. Let's look at the action. I'm seeing ground. Come on, sir. If you are a videographer, you're going to get fired on your first day. All righty. I'm about to get dizzy now. I'm motion sickness. Let's try to skip ahead a little bit. So now the officer got the for real pistol right there. The rifle, approaching the guy with the camera, I suppose. And then there go the fake gun right there on the ground still, ain't been picked up. And now they arrested the stormtrooper. Like, for what though? This is what happens when, so much hysteria. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, or I don't want to say reminds me of, what it is when the kid that gets, not the kid. It's the people that would suspend the kid for having a Pop-Tart gun. Remember the Pop-Tart gun? Some years ago, a little boy chewed a Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun and got suspended from school for that. I lied. Chewed a Pop-Tart. I'm talking about a pastry, a little treat. Chewed it like, matter of fact, hold on. I got to put it up on the screen if you guys don't remember that, because that was really wild. But yeah, that lady should sue the police department over there. Should sue Canada and Trudeau for that, because that's ridiculous. And she got slammed, actually. Like, it didn't show all of it. She got slammed onto the ground because of that. But it didn't show that in the video. That's what I've been reading. Nose got blooded up and everything. Okay. Now, hold on. Now, you're going to see this Pop-Tart gun if you ain't seen it. Okay, hold on. That's a Pop-Tart gun right there. a Pop-Tart. And no, that's probably the best one. It's like the little cinnamon jank. I would do something like that, just eating it. How you know I didn't just, chew it and all of a sudden it became that? And then I'm playing with it like I'm a little boy. I'm 6 years old. I'm playing with the food. Suspended for this. Those kind of people were the same ones that threw the lady on the ground and arrested her for wearing a stormtrooper costume outside of a store. Ridiculous. But let's get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right, let me get to my screen back together. And all right, Snap Turtle, what's happening?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Everything's good, man.
Oh man, I'm outside chilling again, per usual.
No doubt.
So I wanted to know if you heard anything new about the Arbery case. Did you hear about the surveillance video on the construction site?
Now I'm just not hearing about that as I'm streaming right now. I didn't see no video. All I saw was like a snapshot of it. Is there a full video?
There is. There are a couple videos. There's a video outside of the construction site, and there's a video inside the construction site. Now, he did go into that construction site. So the theory of that can be put to rest is actually a fact. He did show up to that house and go inside the house, and he was looking around. He didn't take anything. He was just looking around. It's an empty house. It's a frame, basically.
Right.
And so apparently he ran out. I don't know why he ran out, but maybe he stopped by on his jog and then said, okay, well, this is looking like something, and then he ran out. But anyway, so if you look at the law in Georgia regarding citizen's arrest, you can only perform a citizen's arrest if you are in the vicinity of that crime being committed, and you're like right there, you're able to stop it.
Right.
And if the person is leaving the scene of the crime, meaning the crime is over and they moved on, they can only chase after the person and attempt to arrest them if they committed a felony.
Okay.
And the only law that he broke in this case essentially was trespassing.
Right.
Now, in that case, that's what got them in trouble. That's why they're being charged right now. Well, they're being charged now because somebody leaked the footage thinking that it was going to help the case.
Okay.
Michael's case.
Right.
So their lawyer, right, did it. Their lawyer released the video, okay? And so he thought it was going to help him. Like, look, this guy was actually at that house. And boom, he started running away. And that's why they did what they did. Well, they kind of stepped in it at that point. But, the bottom line is what they should have done was, like, I think you mentioned it the other day. They could have followed him and gave a location to the police, like, oh, they're going down this way. Oh, he turned this way.
Right.
But to actively cut him off, they tried to cut him off twice. If you look at the police report is out too. Yeah. So if you look at the police report, they tried to cut him off twice. They tried to cut him off the first time. He just ran around and ignored him. And then the second time, that's when he was like, okay, what's going on here? Right. But if you look at the video, you didn't see, you saw Arbery jogging toward the truck, but you didn't see Robin McMichael. I call him Batman and Robin. That's what I call the father and son. So Robin hopped out of the truck with the shotgun, but he was on the other side of the truck. So he saw what we saw in the video, which was not really much. He didn't really notice when he got toward the front of the truck, the camera swayed away. You remember that part? Yeah. And that's when the encounter started. And then when they came into the frame, boom, that was the second shot. And the third shot happened when it happened. So I don't know, man. They shouldn't have done that. Point blank, period. And it's really, people should not inject race into this. They really shouldn't.
Right. Nah.
They should. And you know why? Because when you inject race into it, when you say, oh, it was a white racist, blah, blah, blah. What you're doing is you're creating a straw man, okay? You're creating a straw man for other people to attack. So instead of focusing on one human being killed another human being, right, in the act of being an aggressor, what you're looking at now is you're giving people the ammunition to say, oh, why are you making it about race? And now it's all about the race issue. Right. It's all about the race issue. But you can't prove these men's intent, right? Just like you can't prove you definitely can't prove
breaking up there a little bit.
Arbery's intent to why they did. My bad.
You good? You good now?
Can you hear me now?
You good?
Okay, so you can't prove intent. So you can't just come out and say, "Oh, well, they were racist. They were looking to hunt black folks," because now they have the video where Arbery was actually in that house.
Right.
And maybe they felt like he shouldn't have been there. You know, I don't know if they knew the owner of that house or what, but you know, I have gone by houses that were under construction just to take a look. You know, I didn't think nothing of it, you know, but they thought they were, I don't know if they thought they were doing the right thing. I don't know what their intention was, but they did the wrong thing when they cut him off.
Right.
And I thought with a shotgun. So that's the bottom line to it. There's really not much more to it than that until we get more facts. And until we get something on the Facebook post that says, or hate N-words and blah, 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 or even on Arbery's side, whatever the case may be. We have to wait for all the facts to come out. Right now, the facts are there was no felony. They should not have chased him down. They should not have confronted him. And now he's dead. So that's it, man. I mean, let's leave the race out of it on both sides until we find out what's going on and why they did what they did. But what's interesting is the number of prosecutors this thing had to go through before it landed on the third one. So, I mean, there's something going on there too, but that's pretty much all I got on that one. But I want to talk about, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think you're on point. And that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning before I had all the information. Because one thing I kept saying in my video I made was, I don't really know because I don't have all the information. Like, he could have been in the house. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I can't say for sure if he was because I don't have the proof. But now we got the proof. Okay, then he was there. See, now as we get more information, the story comes together. You know, people are making a bunch of assumptions and just going off speculation and having that be their conclusion when that can't be because we don't know everything yet. Once we get all the facts of the case, then we can say, okay, this is what's going on. This is my conclusion. So I think you're right on point.
And don't forget, he's also a former. Well, he was an investigator for the DA's office.
You're talking about the father,
the father.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt like, I need to get back into action. I don't know what he thought, but it was the wrong move, man. But interesting. So did you hear about the information about the fact that now they're saying that all the shutdowns and the lockdowns in regards to this virus was the wrong move, and that none of the hospitals that they built, you know, those emergency hospitals they built, the Army of Engineers, like how many millions of dollars did we spend on that?
Just wasted it,
and we didn't even need them.
Didn't need them, and then that whole boat.
Now they're saying
that the whole boat they sent to New York didn't even really get used like that. It was no purpose.
Dude, I live down the street from where Mercy, not down the street, but about 20 miles from the coast where Mercy is. Mm-hmm. Mercy is not, I think they had 6 people, but they were supposed to see non-COVID patients. They had about 6 people. And I know a woman who lives down there, she said there's nothing going on at Mercy.
Right.
So they mobilized a huge medical ship.
Right.
For what? You know what I mean? Like
nothing.
And it's just, it's crazy. Like, why are we, with all this knowledge, with the fact these experts are saying, look, this economy shutdown, this lockdown did not change one iota whether the number of deaths at all. And as you said, and as the WHO says, Sweden is essentially the model, man. Like, allow people to make their own decision. They did shut down the secondary schools.
Okay.
Sweden. The secondary schools, like what we consider junior and high school.
Right.
They shut that down, but they left the elementary schools open. They let people go outside. So if the kids couldn't go to school, guess what else they could do? They go to museums. They can go to the park. They can go here. They can go there and live their life. They just had a long vacation.
They're not just sitting idle at home with nothing to do, getting into trouble.
Right. But what kind of vacation can you have at the house, cooped up in the house all day, breathing in? Oh my God.
You in jail, basically.
Essentially, yeah. You're in jail, or you can go to the grocery store.
Right.
You can go here, you can go there, but man, that's no life. That's no life to live, man.
No.
And they want this to be the new normal. Man, they got me messed up.
Exactly.
Real talk, man. It's like, yeah, they got me all the way messed up. And I got so many family members that are just so scared of this thing, because my mom hit me up and said, oh, because I get into it with my mama just a little bit about this whole situation. She wants to stay in the house all day. She don't want nobody go nowhere.
My mom, same way.
And I'm like, Mom, you can't. I mean, you're older. Yeah, go ahead, stay at home. But she goes on walks every day, so she's still getting out the house. But they're talking about how kids are coming down with Kawasaki-like disease. I don't know if you heard of Kawasaki disease. It's like an inflammatory disease where the organs swell up inside the child's body. Like they get swollen. It's inflammatory. So several organs, they're trying to link that to COVID-19. And my mom sent me information on that. So I looked it up. I did some research. I did my due diligence. I said, okay. And I told her, I said, well, it's Kawasaki-like disease, because she didn't know what it was like. So they're taking Kawasaki disease and they're linking it to COVID-19, and they're saying it's COVID-19. But the thing is, very little children actually get that condition, and most of them are treated well. Like the treatment works well on them.
Right.
So we need to stop being alarmist. As soon as we hear something, that's what we want to go with. We don't want to. Why don't we fact check? Why don't people fact check? I don't understand that.
People are so scared that anything that comes across their desk, if it's something that scares them more, it'll just add to the fear. They won't take a moment to be like, what is this for real? What's kind of some research on it? Nope, I'm scared even more now, and I'm gonna stay home even more.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating, man. And it's like, and that type of mentality that's the majority of the people, and that's why we're still in this situation.
Yeah,
because most people want to believe it, and they're just doing what they're told. I invited my brother's children to the park with all our kids, and my brother separated from his wife, and he's living with us now. And his wife is like, nope, my kids ain't going nowhere, blah blah blah. And I'm like, your kids need to get out the house. They need to play. They need to interact with other children. But what can you tell people, man?
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's all I got for you, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man.
Stay free.
Oh, definitely, man. Same to you, man.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, great call from Snap Turtle. Absolutely. And thank you all for joining. You know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to do Skype, there's an email for that in the description box below. Add me on there. I'll try to get you on as soon as I can. And the lines are blowing up. I'm going to try to get everybody on as soon as possible. We got a little bit of time left, and I'm going to get to some more calls. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
Yo, ABL, what up?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much. Hey, I'm seeing some gray in your hair, man. What's going on?
I'm old, man. I'm over the hill, man. I'll be 36 this year. I'm old.
Dang, I didn't expect you to grow that gray hair that fast.
But you know what? It's hereditary, though, because all my cousins is like my age, got the same thing. And my dad, when he was like, by the time he was like in his mid-40s, he was totally gray.
I saw when I was in high school, I saw this guy in one of my classes with a gray streak coming out of his hair,
That's probably a birthmark, actually.
It could be,
Yeah.
I don't know. But on your Instagram feed, you posted a video about infighting with black conservatives. What's all that about?
I mean, if you don't know, I don't really want to get too deep into it, but it's just this whole thing with the Arbery situation. People got different viewpoints on it, and it's causing some people to kind of fight amongst each other. But I'm like, we should just be able to have different points of view and not have it really be a big problem. Like, not have everybody agree, but be respectful in their disagreement. So that's all.
All right. If you want to go into it, that's fine. I was just curious about that. I think I know what you mean, because I'm Instagram friends with a lot of them. And I noticed that some of them have been posting a lot frequently on Twitter, having to sort of roll back their positions a little,
Yeah, and really, and things like this, I don't really get involved because I don't do videos about YouTubers and stuff like that. I'm all about the news. I'm a news channel. But I feel like people kind of respect what I say. So I wanted to be like, I guess you would say, the elder statesman and just say something.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty then. That's cool. You seem like that considering the amount of attention you're getting,
Mm-hmm.
And like your general wise man attitude, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. I got you. Appreciate that.
But yeah, I'm about the police, not with the Arbery just with the Arbery situation, but with all the arrests of black people who are defying the social distancing policy in Brooklyn and the whole stormtrooper thing. I feel like, I don't know, the cops have been a little funky this year. I think what's been going on with the virus and whatnot, it's only making the relationship between the cops and the people worse. Like, in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, the mayor, she had this speech where she was basically like, we are paying special attention to people who are outside partying or just talking. And if you are, you would be arrested and sent to jail. Meanwhile, you got these people. Well, you got two things happening. One, you got people getting freed from prison because they can't be held because of the virus. And then you have Lori advocating for essentially snitching. If you see people outside not social distancing, email or call the cops. And you know how snitching is frowned upon, and that could lead to a whole slew of problems itself. And along with Chicago's pretty poor witness protection program. And I'm just worried that these incidents, because it's not just a matter of isolated incidents anymore. It used to be, and people would have their arguments about it and move on. But now it's like every day with this whole thing, and I'm worried. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as what specifically? As far as like some of the rules being enacted on us?
Not necessarily that, but the relationship between the police and the people now that these draconian rules are being set.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the thing about it is, it's been kind of the same, but now you're going to have this layer on it, and it make it kind of worse a little bit. Or it might not affect it at all because those that are, getting questioned and harassed or whatever because of this rule were probably already having that happen to begin with. So I'm not really sure. Like, some people think that the police are bad anyway. So if they have this going on, it just kind of reinforces what they already think. So if there was any kind of progress made for them to think differently, then that's pretty much eradicated. All the progress is pretty much washed away. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's real unfortunate, and it kind of makes me worry because we're in a recession right now. We can't deny it. There's nearly 15% unemployment. People are going in lines trying to get for food, and it's like these long lines trying to get food. And I don't know. It just worries me that the president's chances of continuing on are pretty much slim because the economy was a huge highlight, and now that's been tanked. Some people speculate that was kind of intentional among the Chinese because of the whole tariffs and the trade war going on between them. They had signed, like, I think last year they signed a little deal between the U.S. and China, and one of the outliers was that if what they call an act of God ever happened, that China doesn't have to adhere to this policy. And here we are, a quote unquote act of God.
I saw that.
Which is why the administration is trying to see if there is evidence that this came from a lab or it was man-made, because then they could definitely hark on China.
Yeah, definitely. And then not only the U.S., but the world, because the world has been affected by this. So if they can find evidence of it coming from a lab and or being intentional, then the whole world would be on board with, having strong sanctions against China.
Yeah. Or, they're actually, Ted Cruz is actually trying to pass legislation for any Hollywood studios who are being influenced by China, funding gets cut off. Which I'm surprised that the taxpayers even fund Hollywood, You know about that?
What, taxpayers funding Hollywood?
Yeah, like Ted Cruz, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zodiac killer. he he is trying to pass legislation for if anybody who is severely under China's influence, they get taxpayer money taken away from them. Like taxpayer money is being spent on like all the warships and stuff, and any military equipment that's being used, like Transformers series level military equipment.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then there's all kind of like, you got studios that get tax breaks and stuff like that, like in Georgia. That's why a lot of things will get filmed in Georgia. So yeah, I mean, and the Chinese are definitely influencing, because a lot of the films today, especially the big blockbuster films, are made with China in mind. Because like you saw Black Panther. It was a random scene in Chinatown. What are you doing in Chinatown? This is a Black Panther. Why are you doing a whole fight scene in Chinatown?
I know, man.
With Asians in there. It's because that scene was for the Chinese. Pacific Rim, stuff like that.
Was it like Korea or whatever?
It don't even really matter, like, because you're talking about the Chinese, anything that looks Asian is enough, because it's like, okay, look, they're acknowledging our part of the world. You do what I'm saying? So yeah. even if it's not expressly Chinese, it's still kind of catering to them.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, and now it's kind of hit them because like Disney, and that's my issue. People like I'm like sort of a capitalist figure, and before I go, I'll say this: I'm like a capitalist figure, but I'm well aware of the lack of foresight in corporations. Like nobody had. People get into so much debt, or people have no foresight to think ahead. Like Disney, for example. Disney is very much influenced by China. But now they get stabbed in the back by them, because now they can't make films, they can't distribute films, they can't do sports events, and they can't do Disney parks. And so all they have are their merchandise, and their merchandise isn't selling. And they're already like in like millions or billions of dollars and millions of dollars in debt, tens of millions of dollars in debt, and they can't pay that off because they're not making money. It's just all, that's what you get for being cozy with China. And now hopefully that mindset changes,
Hopefully so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna change. Look through your chat. They're giving examples of Chinese influence in American films, like with Doctor Strange and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll hang up. I'll see you. I'll be in chat for a while, so I'll catch you later, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Right, peace.
All right, thanks for joining for the call. I appreciate him. Let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right. Hello, Matt.
How you doing, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Matthew called in the other week. Just want to clarify quickly. The other week, I think I called in. I might have gone off on Mike Pence. I meant Joe Biden. So my apologies for anybody who's listening, because you looked a bit puzzled when I went on.
Oh, it's all good. It's all right.
But I thought to call in really because obviously there's a lot of stuff going on with the coronavirus and the World Health Organization and China. And one of the questions that we just start asking ourselves is, how are we going to approach China in the future? What are diplomatic relations between Western nations in Europe, the United States, going to be like with China in the future? And looking at it, one of the things is obviously it's clear that the World Health Organization is biased towards the Chinese. The head of it, Tedros, I can't pronounce his last name, my apologies.
Ghebreyesus?
That's it. He's an Ethiopian doctor, and he's actually affiliated. He was actually in the government of Ethiopia in the 90s. There were a communist party called the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people don't tell you about is that there was actually a genocide against the Amhara people beginning in the 1990s, and it's been this gradual sort of move towards a sort of cultural eradication of these people in Ethiopia. But of course, people always ignore that aspect to it, because as we know, communism doesn't like culture. The whole idea of communism, well, I mean, it's communism is a vast idea, but obviously one of the pathways towards socialism in Marxist thinking is, of course, the eradication of culture and religion and all these other things, because, of course, those are considered barriers. So this government obviously partake in a genocide, and to see the World Health Organization, headed by somebody that was part of a dictatorial government, a genocidal government, is quite extraordinary. But of course, we know the reason why is because obviously he's paid and bought by the Chinese. It's as simple as that. And one of the problems that I have, and it's a lot more prevalent in the UK. It's good to see in America Trump, standing up, criticising China. Even Bernie Sanders has been criticising China on trade. I mean, of course, he won't criticise them on the social aspects. And whenever somebody says, the Chinese virus, everybody kicks off. But it's a lot bigger than that. If you look in Britain, for those of you who don't know, in 1997, Hong Kong was given independence. Now, funnily enough, Margaret Thatcher, who was Prime Minister in the 80s, and she's known to be quite a hardline conservative, one of Reagan's biggest allies and biggest inspirations as well in terms of his thought process. She had actually made an agreement called the Sino-British Declaration with Deng Xiaoping, who was then the head of China. So the declaration was obviously Hong Kong would be free. It would be a special administrative region under China, but it would make its own laws. It would have its own sort of democracy operate within it. And of course, it would continue, or was supposed to continue to be, this free market city until at least 2047. And the idea, or at least what the West thought, was that, of course, China by then will break up and it will become more democratized as, of course, it liberalized its markets more. Of course, clearly, as we can see right now, that's clearly not the case. Right. And a few years ago, the Chinese foreign minister came out and stated that the Sino-British Declaration is no longer considered valid by the Chinese government, which is a total, which is completely ridiculous. Britain signed an agreement having Hong Kong for 150 years, and they upheld their end of the bargain. They shouldn't have upheld their end of the bargain because it was with the Qing dynasty, not the People's Republic of China. But they still upheld it anyway. And the Chinese have gone against their word. So one, we know you can't trust the word of the Chinese. Secondly, and this is important, a few weeks after the Chinese foreign minister came out and condemned this, and essentially said this agreement is no longer, it's basically null and void, David Cameron, who was prime minister, rolled out the red carpet and invited Xi Jinping to Britain, and he didn't bring it up once. Now, currently David Cameron, I don't know if you know much about him, currently he is head of a Chinese-backed hedge fund, backed by one of the few national banks of China, and nobody talks about it. Nobody mentions that a Western leader, the United Kingdom, a member of NATO, and this is why I'm not surprised Congress is very distrusting of sending military equipment, F-35s. I don't know if you saw that, to the United Kingdom. There's been a bill proposed, I think it was by a Republican senator, because obviously the 5G going on with Huawei, and Britain's going to proceed with that. So now there's an element of one of the oldest alliances, certainly one of the closest within NATO, of course, which was the bridge of Britain and the United States, across the Atlantic, is really going to be broken up over China. And it's a soft power grab from the Chinese with all these, surrounding nations. I mean, the Czech Republic, for example, has pretty much been bought out by China at this point, hence why a lot of anti-Chinese legislation proposed in the European Parliament, for example, a parliament which I strongly disagree with anyway. And I think actually this exposes why it needs to be scrapped, because all it takes is for one member state to veto something for it to not go through. And obviously the Chinese are using the Czechs to veto anything that's anti-Chinese. So now you've got the EU essentially, because of one nation, really almost under the influence of China. And the thing is, nobody is speaking out against China, with the exception of Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump makes a great point about, I think the rhetoric is perfect. I think China needs to be humiliated to some extent. But also, one of the things that I worry about, though, with regards to Trump, is the trade policy. Now, I agree strongly, America first. I think goods should be labelled, say this is for America. But also, I'll be honest with you, I believe in the free market. I believe in freedom. I believe in people's ability to buy and, pick and choose what they want. Of course, I'm not American, so it's not up to me. It's up to you guys. But what I will say about the Trump trade policy is the problem by putting tariffs on China. One of the things that you do, and you create this problem where a good will be about 90% manufactured in China, but then they'll ship those goods to Indonesia, Vietnam, and Malaysia, and then they'll do the final bit of assembly, and that technically makes it a Vietnamese or a Malaysian or a Indonesian good, and then they ship it to the United States. So China is getting around those barriers, and the problem is, for those that don't know, Malaysia is historically Western aligned. So is Indonesia. I mean, Indonesia had an alleged genocide in the 1960s where 500,000 to 1 million communists were killed. And of course, Vietnam, which obviously Vietnam, don't get me wrong, has a bad history with the United States. But Vietnam's also a very anti-Chinese country. If there's one country they hate more than the United States, it's the Chinese. If you look at the history between Vietnam and China, going back to the Qing years or even before, even to the Han Dynasty, I mean, Vietnam and China were having wars back and forth. If you think the Japanese and the Chinese rivalry is bad, look at the Vietnamese and the Chinese rivalry. It's even worse, right? So what happens is, by doing the final assembly process in those nations, you are creating jobs in those countries. That's soft power that makes those countries reliant upon China. So that's just one thing to bear in mind, I think, in general. But other than that, absolutely right. I mean, I think Americans, I think in terms of advanced manufacturing, I think Western nations should be developing their own mobile phones, their own tech in general. I mean, China's economy is not there yet. China's, don't get me wrong, they've got one of the largest economies in the world, the second largest, or if you go and by purchasing power parity, it's the largest. But China doesn't really lead in anything at the moment. Maybe mobile phones. Huawei. I'm going to admit, I think Huawei produces better phones than Apple or Samsung do.
Correct.
For the money, they're absolutely excellent.
1000%.
But other than that, they're not really ahead in anything. I just thought I'd say that to bear in mind. But yeah, sorry. Long rant, I know, but there we go.
It's all good, man. Hey, man, it's been a great call, but I got a lot of calls online. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you very much, ABL. Thank you. Have a good one.
No problem. All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's get to a few more. Let's go 626. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Marina calling you from Los Angeles, California. How are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. I've been trying to get in touch with you a little bit because I've been I was hospitalized. I've been in and out of the hospital for about a week now, here in Los Angeles. And what I was doing was I was taking pictures and I was taking a lot of videos from my friends on Facebook and such to show them what was really going on, because what you see on TV is one thing and what's going on the inside is another thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah. So I was taking these pictures because what they have is they have like this COVID section, and they have like all these military tents and whatever, but they're completely closed down now because they have them like all fenced up to make sure that the homeless people don't get in them and such.
Mm.
But the thing is, when I was in the hospital, when I was there, they had this whole. I was sitting in my room with the nurse, and the Channel 7 comes on, and they have like this whole report on how there's on the outside, at the outside of the hospital, same hospital that I'm in, they're having this whole procession for all the doctors and the nurses, to thank everybody because they're so inundated and because they've been slammed so hard and because it's been hitting them so hard in that hospital that I was in. And there wasn't another person there but myself in that floor. And I was, the thing, again, what you're seeing is one thing, and what's going on inside the hospitals are totally different things. We all know this pretty much by now. But the thing, I was talking to my friends, and we were talking about, like, how is it, we don't understand how is it that these people aren't getting in trouble. Like, how is it that these reports are going through and nobody is getting in any kind of trouble whatsoever for reporting something as great different as what's really going on?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It really is. I mean, I feel like they're not getting in trouble because maybe it's a whole big thing. You go all the way up the chain to those who you would report it to, and they're kind of all in it. It could be what's going on. Maybe they want to hide that from the public, so nobody's really going to tell or be the one to get it out there. And that's why you got to have some of these undercover tapes that come out. And then some of those get discredited as being fake, but it's like, no, it's video. You can see it. So, I mean, it's a good question why nobody gets in trouble, because they should. I mean, at a certain point, isn't that called fraud or something?
Yeah, because I mean, I was laying there. I was in my room. I was with the nurse, and then I talked to them. I talked to the nurses, and we talk, and I'm like, has anybody in this hospital? I mean, this is like a huge. This is in Pasadena, where they have the Rose Bowl. And it's a huge hospital. It's one of the biggest ones next to, LA General. And it's the second biggest one here. And not one single person is getting treated for it. There's not one person in ICU for it. There's nothing. There's zero. There's nothing. And, the nurses, they're like, well, we wish that we wish everything could go back because we don't have anybody to treat. There's no regular ailments. There's, nobody's coming in for anything else. There's nothing. Like when I was there was one other guy. He was there because he was a construction worker and he fractured his arm. He had like a fracture of some sort. But that was it. That was like the whole time that I was there. That's all I saw. And again, it's one thing is, okay, we all know that it's happening, but why can't it, just like legally, why aren't they being accounted? Like, there was this new Project Veritop that came out of CBS. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that, where they were faking how busy it was at the hospital for the news.
Yeah, the testing. They did. They had their own employees get in line. They
wow.
had, they said, okay, get in your cars and pull your cars over to the parking lot because CVS is going to be here. We need we need to show there's anybody here, And they said they were pulling they were pulling nurses. They were like telling anybody like just get in the car and just pull your car around, And these things are coming out. They're everybody sees them, and why there's no legality. That's what I want to know, like, what's up with that? I mean, like, why
That's a good question.
Why isn't anybody getting in trouble? I mean, is it like back in the day, I remember, like, was it just me? I don't know if it was just me, but back in the day, if somebody got caught lying, like if a reporter got caught, like, beefing up a story, or if they got caught, saying something, whatever, they would, one, lose their job, be discredited, whatever, and then they, I mean, it'd be like a lawsuit. I mean, people would get sued. I mean, stations would get sued. All these things would happen. And now it's like nothing. It's just, oh, okay, next.
Right. Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate. But hopefully, is everything okay with you? Are you able to, just move beyond it and be okay? Are you all right?
Oh, no, I'm fine. I was, and long story short, I ended up getting tested, and I've been quarantined, the whole time. Turns out my family was really, really sick in December. Mm-hmm. Like my 21-year-old had a fever. He had all these problems. Long story short, I got tested, and I had it. My what is it called? The antibody.
Yeah.
Came back positive. So now my family is getting they all went and got their blood work done. We're just waiting to hear. We should hear about it Monday, but we're suspecting that of course we all had it.
Right.
But I mean that didn't affect me. I mean my son got really sick, but everybody the little one had fever, the big one had fever, everybody had fever, but everybody got over it, and everybody was fine from it. I wasn't there for that. I have MS, so I was having like a little relapse with my MS, but that has nothing to do with the COVID. But I'm sure they would have said COVID if I would have stayed.
Right. Exactly.
But the thing is that it turns out we've been locked up for as long as they've kept us quarantined, and turns out we've already had it.
I'm with you. Well, I'm glad that everything's all right, and I got a few more calls online. So thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate it.
Right on. Okay. Well, good night to everybody, and thanks for everything. Thanks for everything, Anthony. Have a good night. Okay.
All right. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. 551. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yeah, 551. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, is this Anthony Brian Logan?
Yes, it is.
Wow. How many weeks I've been trying to get through to you, brother. This is Yogi Fish, my brother.
Hey, you know, I saw your comment on Instagram, man. You said, "Let me get in 551." I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you on.
I was shocked. I'm watching the video. I'm like, who was on the phone? But wow, I really wanted to call you to compliment you on your work as a professional journalist, because journalism is my profession. I'm retired now. But, you know, I've worked for the network TV. I work for the military. I work for private corporations. And one of the things that you do that I think a lot of people who probably don't come to your show, but they do know about you, is that you're a real journalist. And I'm not sure if that's been your background or what, but you're keeping, you know, people having more faith in journalism, because they're not really dependent on the networks now, obviously, but it was always a fear that, you know, if the networks don't hold it up, then it's gone. But it's not going away. It's just transferring to people that keep it going, like yourself.
Right.
And one of the questions I had was, how did you get into doing this? Because you do it so well.
Well, first of all, I thank you, man. It means a lot to me, because I'm just a guy. You know, I just like to read. I like to watch the news. Since I've been a little boy, really, I used to watch the news. I was like an old little boy. I'd be up in the morning, get ready for school with the news on in the background. I was that kind of kid. I would always read. So I just like information. I like news. And I just decided that I would talk about what I always talk about. People that know me know this is just what I'm into all the time, talking about the news and stuff. So I just started doing it, really. And I just been trying to practice and get better. And that's how I'm here right now.
Well, I mean, just so you have a little insight with some of the journalistic people, some of them still work for CNN. The CEO of CNN I used to work with when he was at NBC. And so a lot of these people, as bad as they appear on TV, behind the scenes, they still wish they could be doing journalism.
Yeah.
And I think they got caught up in the money world, because it does, you know, journalists were not rich people. They were just, you know, people that with a voice for the people. But these people are making $5 million a year. It's kind of hard for them to be close to the people.
Right.
You know, you living on Park Avenue, what do you know about poor people? You know, and you're supposed to be covering these people. And even with people who are black, and that was the other part I want to talk to you about, is that, you know, a lot of people who speak for black culture, they're not connected to black culture either. You know, I mean, they're dealing with the stereotype of blackness and the, you know, the back and forth. I mean, the only thing they say that makes them black is saying racism. You know, our culture is not a racism issue. It's not our only issue. Our issue is education, science, arts, so many other things. But they never bring up anything else about black culture except racism. You know, and for me, when I worked in journalism, I did stories about culture. You know, it wasn't always what's wrong with them, but what contributions are we making to society that other people are benefiting from, that are not just culture based, but, you know, like Dr. I'm having a blank, but the doctor that works for Trump right now,
Jerome Adams.
No, with the he does HUD right now.
Fauci.
No, HUD.
Ben Carson.
Yeah, Ben Carson. You know, like, this man's been doing this since, you know, way back in the day, and he's been the top in his field because he's the best, not because he's black. You know, so those kinds of subjects never get focused on. So when I see you even trying to deal with the issue objectively, people may criticize you because you're not towing the cultural popularity line or something, but that's not who black people are. You know, black people are a lot of things, and I think you represent it well in a professional way, and I just wanted to let you know that directly, how much I appreciate that.
Hey, man, that means a lot to me. I'm glad that you can kind of see what I'm doing. It gives me motivation, because sometimes you see a lot of negative comments and you might get a little discouraged, but people come in and say, hey, you know, thank you for doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. I'll keep watching, and I'll be broadcasting soon myself. I took a long break from it, but thanks for the encouragement.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. I love calls like that. You know, really, really encouraging, really motivating for me, for sure. All righty. And the line is jumping. I'm going to try to get to some more calls. You got about 15 minutes left to get to the next call. And let's go. Wow. It's coming in so fast. All right. Let me go to the next one. 910, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 910.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, about time. How you been, my brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Oh, I remember when your Bucks would come play Celtics and the next night cut off all basketball.
Terrible.
Yeah, really. A little off topic tonight, but what do you think about NASCAR coming back?
I mean, honestly, I'm not a NASCAR fan, but hopefully they can.
Understand that.
Yeah, but hopefully they're able to come back and have fans, because I think right now they're going to drive with no fans, right?
Right. But and the thing is, if they can do what they do, it might help the other sports, the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, the cricket league, and wherever. It may help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be kind of an example for the other sports. How they're going to go forward.
Hey, I got a little joke for you. I've been holding this for a while. You know how the last couple of months, Ivan, has he called you tonight?
No, he hasn't.
I've been in and out.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, is this Dr. Anthony Brian Logan, I presume?
That's me, Dr. ABL.
Yeah, right. And I listen to all the people in San Francisco, to whatever. You know, I just think we all stick together, and we'll get through this. But you know, Trump, he was. I know you're not supposed to cuss. He was D if he did, or D if he didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was either or. You know, and if he'd have done one, they'd have or whatever he did, they were going to say, you know, he's the Antichrist or whatever. He was the devil incarnate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, the other thing I was going to ask you about, you're in Tennessee, right?
That's right.
Now, how is it there? I'm in North Carolina.
I mean, it's cool. Like it's like you can pretty much move around and do what you can move around with no problems. But the issue is a lot of the stores aren't totally open; they're halfway open. So it's okay.
Like
they opened up the hair spots last night or like a couple of days ago, and when they opened up, like on the midnight opening, there was a line outside at midnight trying to get the hair done.
Well, it's just like us in Carolina here. The governor, he's like, you know, he rent under Caesar, what is Caesar? You know, I mean, he's like, it goes to his head.
Yeah.
You know, he's not. And what was the guy in Virginia?
Northam.
Yeah. So you got Northam, and you got Cooper, and they're Democrats, and they're like, you know, it's so hard to be. For one thing, I've been a conservative since my whole voting life. I registered in 1979. I voted for Reagan, and I haven't hated all the presidents. I prayed for Obama to do good. I prayed for Clinton to do good. You know, I mean, I didn't want any harm to come to the president of the United States. But the people asked for what they got for, and they got what they wanted. The only thing I hated so far is President Trump. He hasn't had a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's been like an uphill battle the whole time.
Hey, brother, I know you have a lot of calls tonight, and it took me a month and a half to call in. The only other thing I was going to say was, I know you're not saying you don't believe there's something to this virus. I understand that. I mean, in Vietnam, 58,000 souls died in a 9-year period or whatever it was. And then in 6 weeks' time, or 7 weeks' time now, we've had like 70,000 people. Now, there's got to be something to this. I just don't know what it is, but I know it's not fake. But then again, maybe it's not a virus. Maybe it's just something else that we got to deal with.
I'll leave you.
But like it is.
I'll tell you this. Dr. Burks got on TV and said, if you have COVID in your system when you die, you'll be counted as a COVID death, even if you didn't die from the virus. So all those numbers aren't necessarily COVID deaths. She said that on TV. But the virus is real. The virus is real, but the numbers you can't really look at and be like, that's 100% COVID deaths.
Right. That's what I was saying before, because even if you cut it in half, 30,000 deaths is a lot of people that die. It's 70,000 now. What, 35,000, half of 70,000? I mean, even if it's only half of that, that's still a lot of people in amount of time to die of a particular thing. Well,
yeah, it's like a bad flu season. It's a bad flu. Remember, in 2017, 2018 winter season, just one season of the flu, you had 80,000 people that died from the flu. So, I mean, it's a bad flu season, really, because the thing, people die from diseases like that all the time, but you don't really hear about it because it's not a new thing or it's not uncommon.
Yeah, but that's like, it's like the chicken and the egg. If the president would have did something different, I mean, I think he acted responsibly. They told him, hey, you had to shut down. If he hadn't went to shut down, it would be a whole different ball game, and they'd be talking something else.
There you go. Exactly.
He rolled the dice. But look where he brought us in just 3 years' time, and the whole time they were fighting against him. And he still, we had a great economy.
Right.
We had, I mean, I've lived through, I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm about twice your age, but hey, I respect you and what you do. And if, like me, like my voice can be heard, hey, I'll go ahead and let you go. I know there's other callers, and I've been trying to get in for a month and a half. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for the call.
Take care and peace.
All right, peace. All right, shout out to the caller. Let me get to the next call, and then I wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. All right, calling on the line, 917, who am I speaking to?
Oh, my God. Hi, ABL. My name is Joyce. I'm a first-time caller.
All right, and glad to have you on. What's happening?
Hi. I came in late, but I watch you all the time. I love you. I think you're fantastic. But anyway, so thanks for all your work. I just wanted to mention something, because nobody's mentioned this, about how this whole thing, about the COVID. What I think, I remember Trump saying that he had the hardest decision to make of his life, when he was going to open up the country. And I think that he actually thought that he had control of opening up the country. And I think that was a mistake that was made, because soon after that, that's when everything came out about each governor and all that. But there was a lot, there was different things that went on. So I think that what happened was, the way I feel about it is, President Trump was presented this problem. He did the right thing. He closed everything down, and then he thought he could open everything up when he wanted to. So, and now it's turned into this kind of catastrophe. But it almost seems as though he got caught in this, not understanding that he couldn't open the country up when he wanted to. And now the governors are messing with him because, now it's a big mess because each governor is making their own choices and all these things are happening. I don't know. Have you ever discussed that or thought about it? Do you remember when he said that? It was the hardest decision he was going to ever have to make.
Well, I remember the whole thing, but I've not really discussed it too much,
Yeah. That's just how it feels to me because I was really, I was watching all of these, the meetings that he was having. And I remember the reporters, like there was, it's just the feeling I got from the attitude of the reporters that day when he said that to one specific reporter. And then soon after that, that's when this came out that, he had no rights to open it up and that each governor had the right. And I think that that's where the mistake came. Because I think that, I don't think he always makes the right choice or is, 10 steps ahead of everyone, like everyone says. I think he's bombarded with so many problems that he's bound to make an error here and there. And hopefully all of us praying for him, which I do every day on a prayer group, and the country, the people behind him, I think, God's keeping him hanging on. But I think this was actually something that he wasn't aware of that turned into this, because really we should be opening up. And, if it were me, if I was in his shoes, I would say, okay, we have to shut it down. These, all these doctors come to him and tell him he has to, so he does it. And then, he's planning to open it up when he thinks it's safe. And yes, he had to, fill all the hospitals and get all the equipment and everything necessary for, a bombardment of people that are going to be sick. But now everything's ready. The hospitals are ready. If anyone's sick, we can, they can be taken care of. And now we should be opening all of the states except maybe New York, And so this is the conundrum he's probably dealing with, trying, and he's, this is why we're in this mess. I think if it was just up to him, he would have put in restrictions, maybe said, okay, people over 60 stay home, whatever, made arrangements that way, and then opened up. So it's just my view. Take it where you'd like to. Okay?
All righty.
That's all.
Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. God bless you, honey.
All right. God bless you.
Oh, one more thing. I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
I have one more thing about reporters and all. When I tuned in, which was late, the guy was talking about reporters. But from what I know, because I worked in that industry, the reporters don't make $5 million. The anchors do. They have agents and they make, large amounts of money. But the reporters make a very good living, probably $200,000, and up. But they don't make the $5 million. Not every person on television makes that kind of money. So, and the crew makes less. So, so yeah. So just so you know, they're all working hard, and if they're really good reporters, I guess they make more than, they make a very good living, but it's not everybody's making millions of dollars in television.
Right.
Just so you know. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the call. All right. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right. That'll be a wrap for me. I got to wrap it on up. It is 11 p.m. Over here on the East Coast time. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely a great show. I always enjoy the show. So it's definitely a good one. I got super chats and then I'm gonna be out. Shout out to the moderators. I see Ansel right there. I see Bill from the Hills, Michelle A, Killer Sushi. I see Liza Jean. I see all you guys. Thank y'all for doing what you do, keeping that chat nice and clean, because you got a few trolls that want to pop up every now and again. Let me do my shout outs right quick. Thank you to Darren Matheny for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Troy Oliver, who says, I thought you were a real one but now know the truth about you after your clown take on the cigarette kid getting beat by that man. I dare you to debate high impact vlogs on this. Not even staying to see you read the super chat. Well, thank you for your $20, man. I appreciate it. It's all good. But hey, you know, the internet is like that sometimes. You have a disagreement on one thing and then people say they hate you and then they want to leave you negative comments. But it's all love, man. Thank you for your donation. And I know what High Impact is going to say. High Impact's a good dude, but High Impact's one of these anti-police guys. He's a good dude, but I know what he's going to say. So if I was to debate him, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be that. It'd be kind of a one-dimensional thing. So, but thank you for your donation. Shout out to Glorious Revolutionary who says, I was a British caller going on about China. ABL is doing a great service, red pilling Brits like me from the fake conservatism in the UK. God bless. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. And shout out to Shane Wilson who says, if we want our normal way of life back, then don't watch sports entertainment without fans. If you cater to it and watch sports from home in the empty stadiums, then don't ever expect to have normal again. Yeah, you know, that's a point to be made. I think that you have a point there. But one thing about that is if there's no fans, that's going to be a big hit financially to these teams because it's not even just, you know, people going like I've been to pro games. It's expensive. And then also you're going to have a lot of the hotels and everything around. It's going to be a big impact on the economy if you don't have people in there. The restaurants, the hotels, the stadium itself, the concessions, the arena, stadium, whatever. It's going to be a problem. Season ticket holders. And then also, if there's no crowd, it's like what it won't even be like having NBA games with nobody in the crowd. It ain't going to be the same. If you ever seen like a practice or a scrimmage or played basketball in the gym, it's way different than playing in front of a bunch of people. You know, the crowd can influence momentums and runs and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've been in the crowd. I saw the Charlotte Hornets play the LA Lakers back in the day when they had Kobe. And I saw the Hornets beat down the Lakers. This was like probably post-Shaq. They were tearing the Lakers apart. And then Kobe came back by himself, basically, and got to the end and hit a game winner. The crowd went wild. But all throughout it, the crowd was on the side. Yes, we were in Charlotte. Yes, they were on Kobe's side. But the Charlotte Hornets were garbage. Anyway, the crowd means a lot. Same thing with football. I mean, if there's somebody in the crowd, it's not going to be the same game. So it's not even going to be as entertaining. And then on top of that, they lose out on a whole lot of revenue. Not just the teams, but also they'll get pressure from the surrounding businesses. They'll get pressure from the restaurants, the hotels, Uber, Lyft. It'll be a problem. So they got to have the fans back. This whole thing of social distancing has got to stop ASAP. Alrighty. But that'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here. I'll be back again live on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Occasionally, I do little impromptu lives on Instagram just because. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, go to the website. I put up a new article just now about how it's time to discuss black on black crime. You know, this website is good for me because I like to write. That's one thing I did before I started anything was writing. I had a blog before. I never really put it out. I just would write stuff just because I wanted to get it off my chest. So you guys check out my article about now is a perfect time to discuss black on black crime. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I think that will be a wrap. So until next time, hold on, get myself together. Until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace.